Man in form with an unbeaten opening 3 rides, and whilst everyone around him scrapped for points, it was the Australian pair of Ward and Holder and a Polish duo of Kasperzak and Hampel that looked the likely threat. Leading the World Championship coming to Poland, it was a poor night for Denmark's Nicky Pedersen, who, after a terrifying crash, finally managed a Heat 19 race win. So Hancock lined up with Ward, Hampel and Kasperzak in the final, and for 4 amazing laps, all 4 riders were in contention until the final corner, when the Pole pulled off an amazing move to beat Ward on the line. Grand Prix win. So Christoph Kasperzak leads the World Championship by 11 points from Denmark's Nicky Pedersen with 24. Then 4 riders share third on 22 as the series moves north to Finland and a new venue for the championship. Tampere, Finland is 90 minutes north by road from the capital Helsinki and 350 miles south of the Arctic Circle. The Ratina Stadium is home to round 3 of the series and is in the heart of the city, which boasts a population of 220,000. Despite being temporary, the track has been in place since September 2013, ahead of the hard winter and ready for the thaw of the spring. Practice on Friday was the first time for any of our warriors of shale around the 400-metre track, and all seem to be looking forward to racing on it.
The track's holding together nicely. The boys have done a lot of laps on it, so it's good to be somewhere else, somewhere different, and we'll see.
It's a pretty special track. It's extremely fast. We clocked last week here in training. I was here only watching, but they had nearly 130 going into the corner, so it's got to be one of the quickest speedway tracks in the world.
Starts are going to be crucial. You know, the track's pretty narrow coming into the corners. I reckon there'll be a few massive first corners, probably a few crashes, but you know, we'll just take each race as it comes and you know, keep working hard.
Hi there, good evening and a very warm welcome to the Ratina Stadium here in Tampere. It's the Mitas Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix round 3 of the 2014 World Individual Speedway Championship. It's all set up quite beautifully here in Tampere. The track, a temporary track as we've just mentioned, and well, it's caught the imagination of the fans. They're here and they're looking forward to the action with the riders on the way very shortly. But breaking news from practice yesterday, the series leader Christoph Kasperzak can only watch from the stands tonight because of knee ligament damage. He tried practice and then made the decision to withdraw from tonight's action.
Christoph Kasperzak, was this a result of an injury from last week then that you're still having?
Yeah, I broke a ligament and this is the problem.
So you're going to have to pull out of the Finnish Grand Prix?
We see what's happened. I'll be maybe ready for Prague, and like I say, it's so shame for me. It's good track, fast, my engine working good from Peter Jones, but yeah, what we can do, go home.
How bad was it? We saw you in practice and it didn't look like you could put your leg down on the floor when you were cornering. Was that the case?
Yeah, I cannot put on the floor, and the biggest problem, I cannot make back my, you know, put to the back, close to frame, and yeah, it's very bad to race, and I cannot race. It will be like, maybe I make one corner and go to centigrade. It's better to race reserve.
Because of that, how are you feeling right now? You couldn't even complete practice. What thoughts are going through your mind?
A bad situation. I always, when I'm in the big form, I fast engine, everything work. Always I have crash, and this has happened in Landshut, and what we can do? Only wait and see what's happened later.
And the sad thing is, for a racer like yourself, that this looks like a really good track today.
Yeah, it will be a good track, and some rats, but maybe watching in TV.
Well, Christoph, we feel for you. You'll be sadly missed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Say hello to every fans and see you in Prague, I hope so.
Well, we wish Christoph Kasperzak all the very best. I'm Nigel Pearson. Joining me in commentary is Kelvin Tatum, as always. And Kelvin, that is a decision which KK will not have taken lightly.
No, that was a really tough one to call. You know, he clearly, we saw the pictures there. He tried yesterday, and he'll be desperately disappointed. He's been in the form of his life. 3 weeks ago, of course, in Bydgoszcz, it was a fantastic performance to win his first Grand Prix. So, yeah, the championship lead of 11 points, I suggest, won't be that after tonight's meeting, which is such a shame when he's made a brilliant start to this year's campaign.
Yeah, we've got Kasperzak currently on 35, Nicky Pedersen 24, Hampel, Hancock, Mulder, Smolinski on 22 and Ward on 21. So
Yeah.
when you look at the standings, it is wide open going into round 3 now.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you know, obviously it's a tough game, and it doesn't wait for anybody. Injuries play their part in speedway, as they do in all sports. But for all those riders behind Kasperzak, this is a great opportunity to really get themselves back in the thick of the action. And coming up for Heat 1 here, Nigel, a couple of lads here, Hancock and Hampel. I'm sure they're relishing the challenge tonight.
So heat number 1 it is then, as you mentioned, Kelvin, Hancock and Hampel in contention, and Chris Harris, who struggled so far. Troy Batchelor, tough debut campaign in the GP for him as well. The Mitres Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix about to get underway. Here we go with heat number 1 here in Tampere, with Greg Hancock going off the inside in red. Jarek Hampel is off gate number 2 in blue. Both those riders looking to hunt down Kasperzak tonight. Chris Harris gate 3 in white, and Troy Batchelor going off the outside gate. It's a 400-metre track. Pretty narrow though, Kelvin.
Yes, it is narrow going into the corners, and I suggest that riders are a little anxious about that. Nobody's raced on this track yet, so this is the first race that's ever going to happen here at Tampere. I would suggest that it's going to be very keenly looked upon, because that first turn, there isn't a lot of room. Here we go.
Mr. Gardell is our referee. Oh, but a movement from Chris Harris there, and the red flag has gone out straight away. A very nervous, edgy start. And I'm sure we'll see a replay of that, but it looked initially from where we are, high over the grandstand here, that Chris Harris was a little bit hesitant there and just made a jump.
Yeah, he's a touch fortunate. He's moved very early there and very nearly touched the tapes with his front tyre, so the red light was on immediately by Mr. Gardell. Right decision. But just I think that's an indication of riders feeling their nerves here. You know, it's a new challenge. You never really know, that nobody's got any experience. Just a word actually about the fact coming to a new venue. The rider on the inside here, Greg Hancock, has a fantastic record about having terrific success when we go to a new circuit. And so, you know, Greg, with all his experience, seems to be able to figure out new tracks very quickly. And his form in Bydgoszcz a few weeks ago was fabulous. And you know he's going to be close. And just another word about Greg Hancock quickly. He is the only one on the golden tyre tonight. Had a quick look around the pits. All the other riders on Mitas, but Greg prefers the golden tyre, and he's making it work.
And we recall last year in Daugavpils, Kelvin, when we went to Latvia for the Grand Prix, and Greg was the only rider that night on a golden tyre, and the result speaks for itself. He was head and shoulders above the rest that night.
Yeah, he seems to be able to make the bike work better to the first corner from the start. Crucial part of the race, of course. You get your nose in front, life's an awful lot easier. And he's stuck with it, talking to his crew prior to the meeting beginning, that he's using it everywhere in Poland and Sweden. So he's completely comfortable with that setup. And as I say, he's the only one on it. Big night for Chris Harris, Phil Morris there alongside him. Obviously, he's accompanying the British rider. It's been a difficult start to his Grand Prix campaign so far. And you just know that he's dead keen to try and get amongst the points.
Yeah, well, that relationship really fostered by the time that they had together in Birmingham last year in the British Elite League, when Birmingham went and finished top of the table in the Elite League. Phil Morris in charge as team manager. Yeah. Chris Harris part of that side, and certainly they struck up a good understanding, and it was no surprise really when Harris asked him to accompany him to the GPs this year, but it's been a tough start to the season for Chris Harris. Here we go, Heat 1, second time of asking.
Absolutely. Harris making his way round to the start. Jarek Hampel coming out of gate 2. An understated type of character, but by golly, he can put some big performances in on the track. Often starts the meeting slowly and then suddenly turns it around and reels off consecutive wins. But he's the real deal. He's a Grand Prix winner. Won 3 Grand Prix last year, Nigel, so he's not frightened to win, is he?
Vicky Pedersen watching on from the pits area. He's up for a big night tonight as well. Travis McGowan we see there is a former rider from Australia who's part of the Greg Hancock pit crew these days at the GPs. And let's just confirm the lineup once again for you. Greg Hancock goes off the inside in red from the USA. Poland, Jarek Hampel off gate number 2, the world number 2. Chris Harris of Great Britain, gate number 3 in white. Australia's Troy Batchelor going off the outside in yellow. Perfect sunny conditions here in Tampere this evening as well. Lovely evening.
Yeah, the stadium bathed in sunshine and it's been a gorgeous day. It was an overcast day yesterday and a touch chilly, but this is an entirely different day here. Track conditions, I'm going to be interested to see how the track reacts. Yesterday the top surface moved a bit and it got a little bit unpredictable at times, but here in Heat 1, the track looks absolutely perfect.
So, second time of asking. Heat number 1 of the Finnish Grand Prix, the first ever Finnish Grand Prix here. Chris Harris called towards the tapes. Will we get a clean getaway this time around? Green light on, and Hancock's made a beauty off the inside, but what about that from Batchelor off the outside? Wonderful start from Troy Batchelor in the yellow helmet colour. Greg Hancock is second, third is Chris Harris, and Jarek Campbell, somewhat surprisingly, is trailing at the back. But Troy Batchelor, who's found it tough in the Grand Prix Series on his debut campaign, enters lap 2 the leader, and Harris comes on the inside of Greg Hancock.
Yeah, fabulous move that. Brilliant start from Troy Batchelor from the outside, swept across the other 3 riders. There's no question that Hancock's got some sort of mechanical issue. He's slowed badly and is now relegated to the back and is struggling with his equipment and now pulling up. That's a big blow for the American, having had the inside gate. Batchelor out in front. He'll be chuffed to bits to have hit the front there, and he's looking good. Good news for Harris in second place and 2 points in hand here, and Hampel trying to push hard in third place, but the race really belongs to Batchelor.
Well, it was a textbook start from gate number 4, wasn't it, from Troy Batchelor, who has only scored 4 points in each of the opening 2 rounds of the World Championship this year in Auckland, New Zealand and Bydgoszcz in Poland. But Batchelor has got this race under control. Now the man in blue, Hampel, is going to have a go at Chris Harris, but it looks as though Harris has got enough in hand. Batchelor celebrates on one wheel. Chris Harris in second place, that'll boost his confidence as well. But 1 or 2 problems for Greg Hancock, didn't finish the race. Third place there went to Jarek Campbell, and that, well, when you look at the inside 2 gates, Hancock and Hampel, you would have put them as favourites for that heat, but the outside 2 of Batchelor and Harris dominated the race.
Well, already proving unpredictable, this new track here in Tampere. And yeah, certainly it was a super ride for Troy Batchelor out in front. He fully deserved the 3 points.
Batchelor the winner with Chris Harris second, Jarek Campbell was third, and Greg Hancock failed to score. He didn't finish the race, and quite clearly he's got issues and will need to get those sorted quickly as Batchelor returns to the pits a happy man after a super ride from the outside gate, and it's a long way to that first turn from gate 4, Kel.
It is. You're going to need a bike that really digs in and pulls hard to the first turn, and fair play to Troy Batchelor. His bike was absolutely brilliant to the first corner. This early stage, of course, Hancock charging in second place, but then very early on he seems to lose power. And immediately Chris Harris then pounces and makes the best of his way into second place, and the American then gets relegated to the back and finally pulls up. So they'll be working furiously hard back into pits. He's looking down there. He knows that he hasn't got the performance he needs, but Batchelor did. He was out in front, won quite comfortably, and as you know, he's had a couple of hard rounds. So for the Australian coming into the series, the ideal start for him.
Well, we have seen glimpses of Batchelor's ability in the World Cup with Australia.
Yes, we have.
In previous seasons. We know that he is capable, and this is a big moment for this man. In white, it's Kauko Nieminen, known to British supporters throughout the UK at the Workington Comets, at Lakeside Hammers, at Leicester Lions. Kauko is a hugely popular character, and he comes in here tonight for Christoph Kasperzak, and there'll be 1 or 2 nerves, I'm sure, for Kauko Nieminen.
He's a pretty laid-back character, though. He's had a big smile on his face. I think he's actually thoroughly looking forward to it, to ride in front of his home audience. He's got nothing to lose, has he? It's an extra, it's a bonus for him to have an opportunity to have the 5 rides. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that he can have a good time. But there's some big hitters here. You've got Zagar on the inside, who looked fabulous in practice. He needs a big Grand Prix.
Zagar off gate 1 in red. Nicky Pedersen, 3 times world champion, going off gate 2 in blue. Kauko Nieminen goes off gate number 3 in white. And Jonas Kilmakorpi off the outside in yellow. Will Nemo do the business, or will he be like a fish out of water here in Tampere this evening?
Well, he'll certainly be hoping that he's not a fish out of water, because this is a great opportunity. But Kilmakorpi, the 4 times world long track champion, he is the official wild card. He would have seen Troy Batchelor win Heat 1 from the gate 4. Who knows? Might be just quite handy for him.
Here we go. Big moment, and again. Surely that has to be an unsatisfactory for a second time. Yeah, a very, very nervy, edgy start here in Tampere tonight and the red flags are out, the red lights are on, and there was definite movement, and quite right that Krista Gardell has called this back.
Yeah, movement initially from Kilmacorpy, and then that sort of drags Niemanen in. And very lucky again not to have touched the tapes, but an unsatisfactory start. And the referee has no option here but to put the red lights on and call them all back. But I've got to say, that gate 4, even though that was unsatisfactory, Kilmacorpy was away there. And it will be interesting with a temporary track. You can quite often get, you know, quite an advantage with one particular track, gate rather. Pedersen there just having a chat with his crew. You know he's always given 100%. Disappointed last time with his performance in Bydgoszcz. He had that high-speed crash, of course, where he clipped the back of Everson coming out of turn 4, and he was lucky to get away with it. He got buried underneath the air fence. It took a while to actually find him, didn't it? They dug him out, and he got back up and dusted himself down and kept charging hard. But after the big performance in New Zealand, you've got to say that the 5 points that he scored in Bydgoszcz wasn't what he really was looking for.
So the work going on the Nicky Pedersen machine. What exactly are they doing there?
Well, they've got the clutch cooler on. That's a fan that's blowing on the clutch just to keep that nice and cool, because when they overheat, they can slip and burn out, and that's not what you needed. And they're also just readjusting the chain there just to take the slack out of it, because these bikes flex so much when they go through the corner. If the rear chain's a little bit too loose, it can actually hop off. So it's an area where the mechanics particularly are very, very keen to make sure it's spot on.
Well, the 2 minutes time allowance well and truly underway. There's less than 90 seconds for the riders to be under power and ready to race here. Nicky Pedersen, who is a supreme athlete as well, he does work hard on his fitness, and during the winter as well, he spends a lot of time working with sponsors and gaining new sponsors and looking after the sponsors that he has as well. He is the ultimate professional. Whatever you say about Nicky on the track, whatever you feel about his racing, he's a professional, he's an athlete, and he knows how to look after his sponsors as well.
He does indeed. He's a hard-working man, and you know, he's a hard-charging rider on the track, and at times you could suggest a little bit too hard, but nevertheless, he comes to a Grand Prix well prepared.
Matti Zegar going off the inside then, the Slovenian. Gate 2 is Pedersen, who we've just discussed on the blue helmet colour. Kauko Niemanen gate 3 in white, and Jonas Kilmacorpy going off the outside. And Kilmacorpy, an expert on the long track, much like yourself, Kelvin.
Yeah, he's the top man. He's won the championship 4 times now, and it'll be interesting to see how he adapts his long track style to this long track speedway, because I reckon it could just suit him. And if he gets to the front, it'll be interesting to see how this home crowd react. I think that could really get them going if they have a Finnish rider win a heat here this evening in Heat 2. That would be great for them.
So, heat number 2 it is. Kilmacorpy, born in Sweden to Finnish parents, well known in the UK with the Eastbourne Eagles, who race at the Arlington Stadium tonight without him. Heat number 2. Here we go. Second time of asking. They're away this time. Zegar with a good one off the inside gate. Takes Pedersen out wide. That allows the switch from Kilmacorpy in yellow. Niemanen's on the pace, and here comes Nicky Pedersen into third. The lead, though, is with Matti Zegar. Kilmacorpy is second. Nicky Pedersen now, almost collects Kilmacorpy in front of him. And Niemanen's at the back, but what a start from the Super Slovenian, Matti Zegar in red.
Yeah, he did. He pushed Nicky Pedersen wide in the first corner, Zegar, and that opened the door for Kilmacorpy, who then charged in the second place. But I'm going to say Pedersen's trying hard, but you can't move off the line because it's slick and you go backwards. A little bit frustrating for riders where there's not a lot of racing room, and you can see that Pedersen's got speed in third place, but he's finding it hard to figure out a way to get the better of Kilmacorpy in second place. Zegar, though, he's comfortable out in front. The Slovenian looking good. Fired out of the inside. Looks like he's going to pick up a heat win.
Pedersen is giving it everything. He's got some speed in that motor for sure. Down the back straight, Pedersen is in third place. We see the leader Zegar. It's going to be one big swoop now from Pedersen, but I think Kilmacorpy has done enough. The lead is with Zegar. He's going to win the race. Kilmacorpy second. Nicky Pedersen was third, and Kauko Niemanen trailed in at the back. That'll be disappointing for Pedersen because he is 11 points behind the series leader Krzysztof Kasperzak, and if Kasperzak is to return in Prague in a fortnight's time, then his rivals will be hoping to at least have pulled level with him after he misses tonight because of that cruciate knee ligament injury. Heat number 2. Zegar, the race winner. Second place was Kilmacorpy. Third was Nicky Pedersen, and Kauko Nieminen was on the pace, but he finished last there in his first Grand Prix race here in Tampere this evening. But a good start from Matti Zegar. The outside gate won heat number 1 with Bachelor, but Matti Zegar immaculate from the inside gate in heat number 2, Kelvin.
Yeah, he looked really impressive in practice yesterday, and I've been, you know, the first 2 Grand Prix, I have to say that he's looked really good in practice and then hasn't delivered on the big night. But here in his opening ride, off the inside there, takes care of business, shoves Pedersen wide. That allows Kilmer Korpi up into second place, and the positions don't change. A great effort from Pedersen. You know he's going to give 100% throughout the 4 laps. It's a long race here. It's a big track, 400 metres. And, you know, as they finish the 3rd lap, they'll be thinking, crikey, you know, we've got another lap to go. Pedersen tries all he knows, but when he moves off the line, he actually goes backwards. But Zegar out in front, much like Bachelor in Heat 1, was pretty comfortable, and an excellent way to start tonight's meeting for him. And as I say, he wants a big night. He came close last year, he had a couple of second places.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing start to the series for Zegar, because I think we agreed, Kelvin, when we looked ahead to this year, that Zegar's got a win in him as a Grand Prix rider. He did well last year, but he's only picked up 2 lots of 6 points in the opening 2 rounds, 12 points in total. So it's a good start for him here in Tampere this evening, as we move on to heat number 3 now, and we see the world number 3 Niels Christian Iversen in this one. Chris Holder, former world champion. There is Iversen. Chris Holder, former world champion, and Darcy Ward, not to mention Andreas Johnson. It's a cracking lineup, this one.
Yeah, big heat 3, plenty of quality in it. Be interested to see how Ward gets on, still struggling a little bit with his knee injury, and he's keeping his fingers crossed that he can produce the goods. Niels Christian Iversen really is riding brilliantly right now.
Jonsson going off the inside, lots of experience now, of course. Iversen goes off gate number 2 in blue. Busy man right now, riding almost every day throughout Europe. Chris Holder goes off gate number 3 in white, the 2012 world champion. Darcy Ward riding with that knee injury. Can he carry it through to October? And he's off the outside in yellow.
Won't be easy. He's going to have to manage it very well, and just hope that he can stay out of trouble, because it is damaged and they will need to have some attention at some point.
Heat number 3 here in Tampere, Finland. It's the Grand Prix, and it's a good start from Holder off 3, but Jonsson on the inside on. Holder's clamped him down. Super start from the man in the white helmet colour, and here comes Darcy Ward, and down the back straight. Ward's going to have to get off the gas because Jonsson went wide. Jonsson holds the line now, and Iversen surprisingly is at the back. Ward challenging hard on Andreas Jonsson. The lead is with Chris Holder. AJ, Andreas Jonsson of Sweden is second. Ward really having a go in 3rd.
He is indeed. You don't expect anything else, do you, from Darcy Ward? Always spectacular, that's for sure. It was a spectacular start from Chris Holder. The bike dug in and lifted and really fired into the first corner. Andreas Jonsson now beginning to put pressure on the Aussie out in front, with Ward once again looking for a way through. They're bunching up. The one that's being tailed off a bit, surprisingly, is Iversen. Iversen not really having the speed in his opening ride, but 1 lap to go. Andreas Jonsson really putting pressure on Holder out in front.
So much respect for Chris Holder for bouncing back like this from the horrendous injuries he sustained last year, almost a year ago now. And Holder's on his way to victory. He's one of a clutch of riders on 22 points before tonight. 25 that is now. Chris Holder closes the gap to 10 on the series leader, Kasper Zak. That's a good ride from Chris Holder. Darcy Ward tried absolutely everything to get the better of Andreas Jonsson. Couldn't get there.
No, he couldn't.
And that's a super ride from Chris Holder of Australia.
Well, there's going to be a premium on the evidence of the first 3 races. There's going to be a premium on starting here tonight. Very difficult to overtake, certainly in the first 3 races. Follow my leader stuff. So if you get to the first corner, nearly the job done.
Holder the winner with Andreas Jonsson second. Darcy Ward was third. Niels Christian Iversen at the back, the world number 3, who's been in terrific form lately. No points for Iversen from his opening ride. He scored 10 points in Bydgoszcz 3 weeks ago. But a big win for Chris Holder. As we mentioned, those horrendous injuries, a heel injury, a hip injury, a leg injury.
Shoulder as well.
Absolutely, it was
yeah,
shocking,
it was
wasn't
really knocked about at Coventry, but he's come back, won the Australian Championship in the winter, and is growing in confidence every time he rides the bike. What a start, out of gate 3. He must have been delighted, because first 2 races nobody looked like getting there from gate 3, but Holder, former world champion, he made light work of that. Look at Ward down the outside, desperately trying to find a way past Andreas Jonsson, but cannot do it. The first three actually pull away from Everson. It's slicker than it was actually yesterday. The sun has certainly dried the track out and it's a bit loose on top, and they're not quite getting the same amount of purchase on the track as they did when it was a bit cooler and a bit overcast yesterday afternoon. And I would suggest that one or two alterations to the setup are going on right now to riders that haven't done quite as well as they would have liked in their opening ride.
So heat number 4 is here, and Ty Woffenden, the reigning world champion, who has struggled so far in the defence of his title, 12 points from 2 rounds. He goes here in the yellow helmet colour. Ty Woffenden off the outside gate, and he has had a return to form for Wroclaw in the Polish league. He's done well in England with Wolverhampton. He's ridden well in the Swedish league as well. He's feeling a lot better about things.
Yeah, he seems like a new character. He's found some form in all 3 leagues, and that's very encouraging for him.
Lindgren goes off the inside in red. Kenneth Bier goes off gate number 2, riding just a couple of weeks after breaking his collarbone. Martin Smolinski goes off gate 3 in white, the sensational winner of New Zealand, of course. And Ty Woffenden going off the outside in yellow. How he would desperately, desperately love to get a win under his belt to get the night started.
Oh, absolutely ideal, and he's certainly feeling a lot more confident. His team are confident about his chances tonight. The ideal way to get it going. 3 points in.
Meet number 4, and Woffenden's made a good one off the outside gate. Oh, it's very tight there, and down goes Woffenden and Smolinski as well.
It's no room, was there?
Nasty-looking crash in the opening turn. Absolutely, the red lights are on, and let's hope the boys are going to be okay there.
They've gone down hard, haven't they? They were literally, you know, Woffenden made a great jump and was coming across Smolinski, and Smolinski was there pushing hard. Not much room. It's narrow as you go into the first corner. We were fearful of this type of incident potentially coming along, and in Heat 4 it duly has. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that both of them are okay.
Well, Smolinski's walking away, but Woffenden's been buried under the air fence, a little bit like Nicky Pedersen was in Bydgoszcz. But it was
the only
so
saving
very
grace is
there.
that isn't at the end of the back straight when they were doing 130 kilometres an hour, because this is such a fast track. But a very competitive run to the first corner there. Nobody really willing to give. Referee will obviously have to take a look at it to see if he's going to make an exclusion. I would think it'll be all 4 back. That's my gut instinct.
Yep, fingers crossed that Ty is going to be okay here after making that return to form. It was a heavy landing, nasty crash.
Straightened up, didn't he? And he ran in. Yeah, there's fingers crossed. They're taking their time with him.
Chris Holder's gone across there, the man who won heat number 3, of course. And we're just waiting to see what the situation is with Ty. And as soon as we get news from down there trackside, we will let you know. But it was a nasty landing, it was a heavy landing.
Yes.
And you could see the way it was shaping up, Kelvin, you could see trouble was waiting to happen there, couldn't you?
Yeah, you know, we spoke about it before the meeting between ourselves about the fact that if all 4 riders got there together, there isn't going to be much room. Woffenden makes a great jump and he's along just in front. Yeah, and they all get there together, the 3 of them. And Smolinski is the meat in the sandwich there with Lindgren on the inside, and nobody's fault. There's no intent there to cause an accident, but the 3 of them arrive together and they all crash into each other, and unfortunately Woffenden just disappears under the fence. He's away from the bike, so fingers crossed that he hasn't got too many injuries, but...
Well, we are hearing that he's just getting his breath back, Woffenden.
Yeah, Smolinski's up and about, we know he's okay, and obviously the concern is for the world champion. He disappears underneath the air fence, which is not ideal, but they're just taking their time.
Well, all 4 riders back is the verdict from the referee.
Of course, and that's the right decision when you see the replay. I felt that may have been the call, and I agree with Christa Gardell, the referee. So, yeah, just taking their time with Woffenden here. When we saw the replay there, he was away from the motorbike, and he actually goes in on his own. Oh, good.
Yep, great to see him walking away, Ty Woffenden. They're made of stern stuff, these boys. We know, of course, last year when Woffenden went to the world title, he broke his collarbone, not once but twice. I was involved in other crashes as well, but they are gutsy, courageous guys, these speedway riders.
They are,
and
indeed.
It looks good that Woffenden will be in the restart. All 4 riders back then for heat number 4.
Yeah, Wolfenden's trying to get across, and he's leaning all over Smolinski, and then of course Lindgren's there as well, and they're just, you know, 3 doesn't go into 1, does it? That's effectively, they were all going for the same bit of track here, and they're coming across, and of course Smolinski's the meat in the sandwich, and they straightens up because Lindgren's there on the inside of him.
Ty got rid of the bike just at the right time.
He
there,
did.
didn't
He's a little bit fortunate because it's never ideal when you actually go into the fence with the bike, and he's just let go at the right time. So yeah, he's pleased to be able to brush himself up and go again here. But yeah,
It's good to see them walking away from a crash like that, Kelvin.
Dead right. And
yeah.
as I say, Wolfenden's coming into this meeting with renewed confidence. And of course, he doesn't want, you know, he's desperate to try and get to the front and win a race. Smolinski there, you know, it's really highly competitive racing. Hancock, of course, just having a chat with him. He's obviously now relaxed about the fact that they've solved his problems from Heat 1. But fortunately, a bit of extra time being given here by the referee to allow Wolfenden just to get his breath back, get the equipment sorted out, to give him every chance of a fair chance rather in the rerun.
To be fair, Freddie Lindgren made a good start there as well. He'll be a little bit disappointed that the race has got to be pulled back because Lindgren made an absolute flyer. He only got 5 points in Big Gosh and hasn't been racing a lot, Freddie Lindgren, but made a really good start there.
He did, and it's a sort of night, if you hit the front away from the tapes, then it's going to be a leveler. It's going to be difficult to pass. I think also riders are desperate to get to the inside going to the first corner because it's going to be very difficult to go around the outside tonight. So you can see how keen all 3 of them were to get to the inside, and unfortunately 3 doesn't go into 1. Tough. It's going to take a while, I think, for riders just to figure out the bike setup to enable you to get the extra speed to pass. And as I said just earlier, because it's been such a sunny, warm, windy day, the track is definitely slicker than it was in practice. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of track preparation they do with it. Certainly some water on it very shortly will help.
Yeah, well, they will put some water on after this race when it's track grading, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It is actually, it's almost like it's baking on the 3rd and 4th turn, the track surface.
Interestingly, the man that was injured coming into that race, he was fortunate to get away with it, wasn't he? Because he's got the plate there holding the collarbone together just a couple of weeks since he did it. So I know that I spoke to him yesterday, and he is a bit concerned about it. He's not completely comfortable.
He's got to stay out of trouble.
Exactly. He was probably very relieved that he didn't actually get hooked up in there.
Absolutely. Kenneth Bier in blue, back in the Grand Prix series this year. Has had some good moments as a Grand Prix rider.
Yeah, he has, yeah. He led the championship for a while, didn't he? And but he has sustained some awful injuries that have curtailed his career. He's broken his legs 2 or 3 times, and he's just seems to sort of get to himself where he's in really good form and then has a bad injury that sort of holds him back. So he'll be desperately keen to try and get a really solid year in the Grand Prix underneath him and establish himself as a top 8 runner.
Well, it's been an opening to this Grand Prix with plenty of delays so far for unsatisfactory starts, and now the crash that we've seen. But the most important thing there is that the riders were able to walk away from it. The 2-minute time allowance is not yet on. It's the race director, Tony Olsen, that has the call. In fact, he's just put it on now. So the race director radios through to the referee to instruct him to put the 2-minute warning on to enable racing to continue.
We're just above the start line here in our commentary position, Nigel, just looking down on the start line as the riders make their way round to it. It's going to be an issue later on with the ruts on the start. They're digging up quite a lot already after 4 races, and sooner or later the rut that you want to go in will be too deep, and then you're going to have to go off a fresh bit. And it is going to be a little bit of a challenge for riders when they have to choose that, because when they dig down so deep, you can actually ground out, and that will kill the run to the first corner. So it's always something, an issue that does crop up when you have a temporary track.
Yep, heat number 4 then, second time of asking here in Tampere, the first ever Finnish Speedway Grand Prix. It's been drama-filled so far in the opening 3 completed races, and we're in the restart now of heat number 4. Wolfenden, with less than a minute remaining, having 1 or 2 alterations to his bike on the apex of the first and second turn. And it is very, very tight going into that first bend. The track is narrow, and sometimes you wonder if it's too narrow, or are we picking faults? It was too narrow then for sure.
Yeah.
And the riders went into that first turn. Lindgren, Bier, Smolinski and Wolfenden is the same lineup, and thank goodness they're all able to take their place.
Yeah, it looks like Wolfenden may have had to change his bike, which is not ideal. I know that he had a favourite one after practice he was very comfortable with, so fingers crossed from his point of view that this one works as well. I mean, he feels as comfortable with it. Smolinski, who is coming out of gate 3, who's digging around, trying to get the rut prepared exactly how he wants it. It's been going great. I tell you what, he has upped his game big time. I didn't fancy that he was going to really relish this Grand Prix challenge, but tell you what, so far, he's really involved and fast.
Heat number 4 it is then. Second time, green light on. Away from the start we go. Lindgren's made a good one off the inside, but Wolfenden away from gate number 4. Super start from the world champion. Wolfenden has the lead, and that was jet propelled as Lindgren gets the bike back under control. Smolinski is third and Kenneth Pierre at the back, but Wolfenden is absolutely carving up the opposition going into heat number 2. He is flying here.
Yeah, what a brilliant opening lap that was from the world champion, much more like his old self, what we were expecting to see a little bit earlier this year, but fabulous start from the outside, flying out in front. Lindgren lifted hard down the back straight on the opening lap, and I thought for a moment Smolinski was going to charge up the inside, but he actually thought better of it, and he's now stuck back in third place, and Kenneth Pierre, who was a little bit tentative in the first corner, he's out the back, but Wolfenden's in a different planet here. Absolutely flying out in front. He'll be pleased with this.
Almost half the length of the straight ahead of his rivals here. Ty Wolfenden, the reigning world champion, who's had a nightmare start to the defence of his title, has got it right here in his opener. Wolfenden in yellow, Lindgren in red, Smolinski in white, Pierre at the back, that's the finishing order, and Wolfenden, you could say, it's normal service resumed from the world champion.
Absolutely, that was very impressive indeed. He'd be chuffed to bits with that. Clearly, the performances recently in the leagues have boosted his confidence, came into the race. You could just see the intent when he dropped the clutch, determined to get to the first corner. Body language, the way he rode the bike, clearly everything working in harmony. Very impressive.
Yep, 3 big points for Ty Wolfenden. Freddie Lindgren was second, Martin Smolinski third, Kenneth Pierre at the back. Every rider has now completed 1 ride in the Finnish Grand Prix, and the winners Wolfenden, Zagar, Holder and Batchelor.
Well, that was a terrific ride from Ty Wolfenden, and I'm sure the whole camp are just taking a great big sigh of relief because it has been hard work so far. I know Peter John's back in the UK, has been working really hard to get the engine spot on, and all of a sudden the bike, the motor, the rider, all clicking here. And as you said, Nigel, normal service resumed for the champion. Good control there, throttle control from Freddie Lindgren. Wolfenden camp delighted to see their men back out in front, looking good. Look at that. Tell you what, Lindgren does well to hang on to the motorbike there and throttle control, riding it out down the back straight. And Smolinski, I thought for a moment he might just be able to take advantage of that, but he can't quite get there. And the boys behind chasing hard. But I tell you what, Wolfenden just disappeared off into the distance, didn't he? So smashing ride from him. So yeah, Ty Wolfenden looking good.
Yeah, and we've spent a little bit of time earlier today talking to Ty back at the hotel, and to be fair, you can tell just by speaking to Ty that he's a lot more relaxed and he's a lot happier with the setup, and generally speaking he's a lot happier.
Oh yeah, he's much more relaxed, and certainly he's looking good.
Well, Chris Holder, very, very impressive winner of his opening ride, and the former world champion is with our man Jason Harold.
Chris Holder, well, what a win for you there. That bike pulling you straight to the first corner.
Yeah, it was really good. You needed it here. As you can see, the track's really slick and the starts are everything at the moment. So, yeah, good to get a good first race out the way, but, you know, long night ahead, so I need to, you know, keep doing the same.
Some boys are a little bit jumpy out there. Is that understandable being a new track?
I think because they know they've got to get that first corner first. There's no if buts about it. You've got to get there. So, yeah, a few have been jumping, but I think that'll settle down now and we'll get on with it.
A lot of people are saying that, you know, the width may be a bit of a problem, but once you get fresh air, I think that's not really an issue, is it?
No, she's still a problem. It still needs some more metres in them corners, but yeah, you just got to make the best of it and start to everything tonight. So just make, you know, 5 more of them.
Well, flyer from you, Chris. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, good start from Holder, Kelv, and interesting comments about the shape of the track and how narrow it is. It's obviously pretty tricky, isn't it?
It's a challenge for the riders, and starting is all. You've got to get to the first corner and you can win the race pretty comfortably. Overtaking is at a premium. It's slicker than it was yesterday, certainly, and they're putting plenty of water on it now. Fingers crossed that we can get that outside line working, because we will get more entertaining racing. I do think it will improve. Riders will sort it out. I think they'll be making a few adjustments to the kit, because probably some riders certainly Everson, probably just had a little bit too much power and too much wheel spin. But no, for the guys out in front, they would have been loving it.
Well, Ty Woofenden, a happy man, no doubt. He's with Jason.
Well, Ty Woofenden, you told us before the meeting that there might be a few close first corners. We didn't think that you'd be one of them. How was it from your point of view?
Yeah, made a good start, and then I think somebody just clipped my back end and it just launched me forward. But like I said, it's going to be a few tough first corners, and there'll probably be a few more of them to come. But I feel all right. I smashed my head as I went under the air fence. I hit the solid fence, head-butted it, but I was a bit dizzy for a minute, but I'm good now, so we're all right.
To pick yourself up and get the start that you did, that is really bouncing back, if you'll pardon the pun. How did it feel once you get out of that start and into some space?
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously, when you're out in front, you can ride wherever you want, and if you're not, then you got to ride where the guy in front of you is making you ride. So, yeah, nice to make a start. Try and make a few more.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ty. Keep up the good work.
Cheers.
Super ride, wasn't it? And you know, really. Just for him, because the first part of the season has been a torture almost for him. He hasn't been scoring many points anyway, and then suddenly he's back on top line, and we're seeing the best of him once again. Riders just beginning to prepare themselves for Heat 5. Going to see Greg Hancock getting out here. Obviously, Woofenden's got back-to-back races here, so he's going off the inside in the next one in Heat 5. Hancock failed to score. Holder, of course, was a race winner in his opening ride.
Three race winners.
So we've got Matty Zagar as well, so highly competitive Heat 5.
Yeah, looking forward to this. Should be a good one. Greg Hancock, of course, who had those bike problems that I'm sure he's resolved right now. He was very quick to go across and check on Ty Woofenden, to be fair, as well. And they are big buddies. They do respect each other. Well, I think everybody respects Greg Hancock, but
well, you can't not, can you?
No, absolutely. and he has huge respect for Ty Woofenden as well. And this has the makings of an absolute belter. And Woofenden going off the inside gate. Can Chris Holder make it count off gate 4, where two riders won the opening 4 heats? Batchelor in heat 1 and Ty Woofenden in gate 4 in heat number 4 as well.
It's going to be a challenge, because, you know, Woofenden won brilliantly in his opening ride. Hancock's a great starter. Zagar looks very impressive, so he's got plenty of opposition, Holder, to deal with coming from the outside. He may need one of the riders just to miss the start a bit if he can get across, but I've got to say, the way his bike came out of gate 3 in his opening ride, Holder, if he can reproduce that, he must have an outstanding chance of hitting the front. And as you said, Nigel, the severity of his injuries last year, you know, it's quite it's a minor miracle that he's back on the bike and riding as well as he is, because as I say, it was a frightening accident that he suffered at Coventry, and really pleased for him that he's able to perform at the highest level again.
Yep, and beautiful setting here in Tampere as well. The back of the stadium where the pits are, back onto a beautiful lake. There's hotels, restaurants and bars all around as well. Really is good to see the setting here, which is absolutely perfect. And it really has been a privilege to be here over the last 48 hours.
Yeah, it's this lovely place, isn't it? You know, never been to Finland before, and I've got to say, when the sun's out like today, it really is a gorgeous place to be. It's warm, people are very pleasant. They really have welcomed us with open arms. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Track conditions need to improve just a little bit to make the racing a little bit more exciting, and for riders in 2nd, 3rd and 4th to have more of an opportunity. But that's a dual role, really. Track conditions, plenty of water going down, and riders just tweaking the bikes a bit.
Yep, that's the setting then here at the stadium here in Tampere, and absolutely fantastic part of the world. As Kelvin mentioned, first time we've been here, and it really has been a great experience so far. Let's hope that the Speedway livens up as the meeting progresses, as these Grand Prix often do.
Yeah.
The riders waiting to push off now. We've only had 4 heats in 45 minutes because of the unsatisfactory starts and crash that we had, and still we wait for the 2-minute time allowance to come on.
It's a bit of a stop-start evening, isn't it?
Not quite sure why the 2 minutes hasn't gone on yet.
No idea. The track preparation is finished, and not entirely sure why, but won't be long, will it? But it's a great lineup for Heat 5. As you rightly say, there are 3 heat winners here, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see who can manage to get to the front this time.
Very much so. And no sign of the 2-minute clock going on yet. Not quite sure why, because all the track work is complete. We've already had a load of delays, and now we're still waiting for the riders to push off. Finally, here we go. And we're about to get underway then for heat number 5 here of the Finnish Speedway Grand Prix.
Well, here we go then, Heat 5. We've had to wait a little while for it, but Matti Zagar on his way out. He'll be buoyed by the fact that he won his opening ride. Woofenden, of course, back-to-back heats for him was hugely impressive in Heat 4. The one that missed out, of course, was Greg Hancock. He'll be going out there just making sure. Not quite sure, we haven't had any information why he packed up in his first one, but I'll keep my eyes peeled to see if that looks like a new bike and they've swapped around, but fingers crossed for him that he can have full power this time.
Yep, heat number 5 coming up then. Woofenden went from gate 4, now he's off gate number 1. They've put plenty of water down, which they needed to as well during that grading break here in Tampere, as we prepare for the action. Heat number 5, 3 race winners as well. And Hancock taking a bit of time to do another practice start down the back straight after the problems that he had in his opening ride. So heat number 5, all the riders are out on the track and ready to go. Heat number 5 then here in Tampere, and it's Ty Woofenden going off the inside in the red helmet, a winner first time out. Greg Hancock, who retired with bike problems, he goes off gate number 2. Matti Zagar and Chris Holder off the outside 2 gates, both race winners as well. Zagar riding for the Bellevue Aces in the British Elite League. And heat number 5 is a very, very tasty lineup.
Real tough one, difficult to call. Chris Holder now is just about finished riding for Paul Claritz, I believe, and he filled in for the injured Darcy Ward. He's going from the outside, but I don't think that's done him any harm. I think that's kept him involved, but he's committed himself to the continent this year. We're looking at Woofenden just rolling into the inside gate, preparing himself. Really looked sharp in Heat 4, didn't he? But I tell you what, if he hits the front, the sort of speed he showed in that Heat 4, he was going to be a tough man to catch.
Heather McNeely from Glasgow is the start marshal here in heat number 5, and sharing the duties with Barry Simpson from Redcar. So 2 British start officials here in this meeting today. Now heat number 5, Woofenden's made a good one, but Holder from the outside, magnificent. Zagar nips up the inside of Hancock as well, who's been blocked out, but Holder has that lead in yellow, the world champions from the past 2 seasons.
Whoa! Woofenden straightened up, big time going into turn 3. Had to take avoiding action to miss the back of Holder. Thought for a moment that could have been another accident there, but just about managed to miss him. Holder was brilliant away from the tapes. 2 starts for him. Absolutely textbook starts they were indeed, and he looks good out in front. Hancock's having a nightmare after that bike failure. He got pushed out in the first corner and got swallowed up. But Holder, once again, knowing how important the starts are, Nigel, made an absolute peach of a run from the outside.
He certainly did. He was jet propelled, and Woofenden closing the gap. He's going to wind it on and have a go. Into the last lap of heat number 5 we go. Chris Holder, the leader, in yellow. Second place is Woofenden. Third, a mile back is Zagar. Hancock has trailed off at the back now. He's not having the best of nights, but Chris Holder is going to make it. 2 wins out of 2, and the Australian, well, he's closing that gap on Christoph Kasperzak, the series leader as well. That moves him on to 28 points. He's 7 points behind Kasperzak, who isn't racing tonight, remember, because of that knee injury, and we wish Kasperzak well, and let's hope that he does make it back for at Prague in a couple of weeks' time, but almost drama there early on as well with
Yeah.
Wolfenden and Holder. And Ty's got plenty of speed tonight.
He has. Both of them did, I've got to say. Out in front, they pulled away from Zagar in fine style.
Holder, the race winner there then. Second place was Ty Wolfenden. Matti Zagar was third. Greg Hancock at the back. No points from 2 rides. That is not like Greg Hancock. And Chris Holder leads the GP on 6. Wolfenden up there on 5. The world champions from the past 2 seasons making a great start. And Zagar is on 4 points from 2 rides.
Yeah, well, smashing start to tonight for Chris Holder, just showing how he's focused here this evening. Coming from the outside, it's close between Wolfenden and Holder. Holder does remarkably well there to get across. Works really hard, so focused, and he pulled it off. Zagar and Hancock, even at that early stage, there we are. You just saw Wolfenden just momentarily straightened up, and it doesn't look much there, but when you're carrying so much speed at the end of that back straight, I tell you, that can actually prove to be quite tricky indeed. He then actually reels Holder back in, Wolfenden in second place, but you know that the former world champion from Australia, he's a savvy rider, he wasn't going to throw that away, so 6 points to his name after a couple of rides, and 5 for Wolfenden. Both riders enjoying a great start to tonight's meeting.
It does mean that Holder is now on 28 Grand Prix points overall, and Kasper Zak is on 35, and you know, every point that riders like Holder pick up here, it's going to just rub salt into the wounds for Christoph Kasperzak, who crashed last weekend and suffered knee injuries. And, you know, it is a cruel blow, but we have seen it many, many times in Speedway down the years.
Indeed we have, and it's not going to make good watching, is it, for Christoph Kasperzak? It's going to be torture, isn't it, for him to watch here this evening, to see his World Championship lead just sort of dwindle away.
Kenneth Pierre off the inside in red. Gate number 2 in blue is Andreas Jonsson. Jarek Hampel, who was struggling in his opening ride, just the point to his name, is off gate 3. And Kauko Nieminen in for Kasperzak here, going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Pierre with that collarbone injury. Will he just deliberately try and stay out of trouble tonight? And the best way to do that is to make the start and lead the 3 riders. It sounds simple, Kelvin.
Yeah, dead simple, you know, nothing to it really, you know, just drop the clutch at the right time and make sure you get there. Yes, ideally it would be the outcome he would prefer, of course, but Andreas Jonsson in his first ride was really quite handy.
Here we go with heat number 6 then. Who is going to emerge? And Jonsson off gate number 2 has made a good one, and Nieminen has to get off the gas there in the early stages. Nieminen though coming through into second and really squeezing hard now. Pierre is third and Jarek Hampel is at the back, which is a surprise once again. Hampel set up quite clearly not right tonight, but Jonsson has the lead. Kauko Nieminen from Finland in his own GP is second. Pierre goes wide, that allows Hampel the challenge, but Pierre holds on here.
Yeah, there in third place, hanging on. Hampel got shoved wide in the first corner. It does not look very competitive at all. Kauko Nieminen making a mistake. Oh, the 3 riders almost falling over themselves. Andreas Jonsson was terrific out of gate 2 and he's fired himself to the front. Hampel's now got the better of Kenneth Pierre because Pierre ran 2 wide in turns 1 and 2, but once again the rider in front is just cleared off. Jonsson enjoying himself on the back wheel. Kauko Nieminen here, if he can hang on, he'll be chuffed to bits to pick up 2 World Championship points.
He will indeed. He's under serious pressure now from Jarek Hampel though. Hampel in white, Nieminen is second in yellow. The winner is Jonsson. He's gone and well clear and down to the line. Nieminen hangs on. Kauko Nieminen has just beaten Jarek Hampel here in the Finnish Grand Prix tonight, and Kenneth Pierre at the back. It's a tough night for Kenneth Pierre, no doubt, and for Jarek Hampel, 2 rides and only 2 points. He'll be massively disappointed with that.
Yeah, but Nigel, how often does he do this? He starts slowly, they'll change the bike, change the setup, and he'll suddenly come out and reel off 3 or 4 wins. Pierre pulls up. Obviously, there's some sort of issue with his equipment, and he's backed up, but I would suggest that Kenneth Pierre is struggling with his confidence here this evening and is just not quite being able to be completely free when he charges into the first corner.
So the results of heat number 6 then, and it is a win for Andreas Jonsson. Second place Kauko Nieminen, third was Jarek Hampel, and Kenneth Pierre trailed in at the back, but of course Pierre with that collarbone injury, understandable that he is struggling here tonight. So Chris Holder leads the GP on 6 with Ty Wolfenden on 5. Andreas Jonsson on 5 points as well to his name and looking super quick there, AJ.
Yeah, he has, and he rode well in Bydgoszcz. at the previous Grand Prix, and but his form actually in the leagues has been up and down. He's been very inconsistent, but he makes a great start out of gate 2 here, and really he just clears off out in front. Kauko Nieminen coming in to replace Kasperzak enjoys a decent ride, but he makes a couple of small mistakes, and the riders behind him were really packing in. Pierre then runs too wide, and that allows Hampel up the inside into 3rd place, but race was all about AJ. Disappointing start for Hampel so far this evening. Hasn't got the speed that he would really prefer to have, but Andreas Johnson, a solid start from him, Nigel. He looks like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, very much so. AJ, who has got lots of experience on the Grand Prix circuit now, of course, rider number 100, and 5 points out of a possible 6. But the big story developing here tonight is that without Christoph Kasperzak in the lineup this evening, Chris Holder has already picked off 2 race wins to close the gap in the World Championship to 7 points. Can we see Nicky Pedersen here in the white helmet colour? We see him close the gap even further. He started tonight on 24. He's moved on to 25. He's 10 behind Kasperzak, so a win here. He will go 7 behind the series leader as well. The door is open for a number of riders to put pressure on Kasperzak now.
Absolutely, and Nicky Pedersen was a little frustrated in his first race, so he will have witnessed some of the previous ones, and he knows how important it is to get off the start.
Iversen going off the inside was trailing in his opening ride. Freddie Lindgren going off gate number 2 in blue with 2 points. Nicky Pedersen, the man we've just talked about, gate 3 in white. And Chris Harris of Great Britain, a couple of points in his opening ride. Needed that. That's as much as he scored. He's equalled his best score of the season with those 2 points in his opening ride. Can he build on it here?
Well, exactly. Let's hope that gate 4 works for him. Niels Christian Iversen coming up late, and he's coming out of the inside. Desperately disappointing opening ride for him, and of course he's the top man in some ways from Denmark right now, because he's won the Danish Championship again, and he's world number 3. But we settle down. It'll be very interesting to see if they've made any changes that work for him.
Here we go with heat 7. Iversen, one of the busiest riders in the world right now, is off the inside. Can he make that start? Oh, it's all very tight again, and Nicky Pedersen is going to have to show typical guts and determination, and he has done. Super right from Pedersen, but here comes Lindgren in blue. All very tight down the back straight. Charging through in yellow as well is Chris Harris, who's gone wide. Here comes Chris Harris, but the lead is with Nicky Pedersen. Lindgren's there in 2nd. Harris has just got into 3rd, and Iversen's at the back once again. Who would have thought that? But Nicky Pedersen kicking on here in the white helmet colour.
Yeah, hard charging Nicky Pedersen. You know he's giving it everything out there, and he hustled his way to the front there. A good effort from gate 3. In actual fact, Iversen made a good start from the inside, but just got outperformed going to the first corner, and is now relegated to the back. Harris took the chance to go around the outside on the opening lap, and it paid dividends. He got himself into a point-scoring position, but Pedersen's in the box seat here. Once again, we're seeing a rider, once they get to the front, being able to pull away. Great effort from Harris, desperately trying to work that outside line, generating speed all over the back of Lindgren. Can he do it? Can he get there?
In turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Lindgren holds the inside line. Harris charges hard, but he's not quite got there. Good effort all the same. Nicky Pedersen with a race win, and that closes the gap for him on the series leader. Kasperzak to 7 points now as well. So that is a big result for Nicky Pedersen, with Freddie Lindgren 2nd, 3rd was Harris, and Iversen at the back. That is a surprise tonight. Niels Christian Iversen has been on fine form and is struggling here this evening. Pedersen, the race winner. Freddie Lindgren 2nd, Chris Harris 3rd, and Iversen, no points from 2 rides, predicted by the man alongside me to win this meeting tonight, and has yet to score a single point.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. It's coming my way. I knew it was coming my way. He's had a desperate start to the meeting.
Commentators curse.
Maybe he's worn out, Nigel. He's been riding all week, so he started in poor style. But this man Pedersen has responded brilliantly after a 3rd place, first time. A great start from gate 3. It's neck and neck getting to the first corner. Lindgren there now to gate 2. And Iversen there on the inside. Dropped the clutch, bang on. He didn't miss it, but the bike just not hooking up and getting there. And a brave move for Harris. If you watch Harris here, he comes around the outside of Iversen and gets himself into 3rd place. And as I said earlier, once a rider hits the front and he's able to dominate the race, he can pull further and further away. And Pedersen moving on to 4 points. He'll be pleased with that race win.
Yep, great ride from Nicky Pedersen in the white helmet colour then. The 3 times world champion has never lost belief that he could win another world title This is the latest World Championship. Bear in mind that Krzysztof Kasperzak is not riding tonight. If you have just joined us, Kasperzak out with a knee injury. Pedersen, Holder, 28, Hampel, 24. So Pedersen and Holder, 7 points adrift of Kasperzak now, and they still have another 3 rides minimum to race here in Tampere this evening.
Too right, and a great opportunity for those 2 boys and 1 or 2 others, I would suggest, to really make it very, very tight at the top at the end of the night. Good ride from Pedersen initially. Interesting to see what goes on here. Darcy Ward coming out of gate 3. See how he gets on this time.
Well, Troy Batchelor, who's an impressive winner first time out, is off the inside gate in red. Eunice Kilmacorpy goes off gate 2 in blue. Gate 3 is that man, Darcy Ward, carrying that knee injury. And off the outside is Martin Smolinski in yellow. A few German fans that have made the long trip here to Finland this evening to support Martin Smolinski. He has certainly captured the imagination of the media and the Speedway fans in Germany. Smolinski has done a great job.
He has, and absolutely correct. There are plenty of German fans here that have made the effort to come to Tampere. And 1 point from his first ride. He's got gate 4 here. Interesting to see if he can swoop across.
Batchelor now off the inside, hasn't quite got there. He has actually, as Smolinski comes around the outside, and Ward with a clever move up the inside, and that was really Smolinski having done to him what he's done to other riders as well, but he's got the lead here. Martin Smolinski, super ride with 2nd place Darcy Ward, 3rd in red here is Troy Batchelor, and Martin Smolinski has that lead, but you can be sure that Darcy Ward will try hard here and give it absolutely everything. Down that back straight, he winds it on. He's going to try the inside line. Smolinski holding that lead. Here comes Ward, having a real go now, Kel.
He's working overtime in 2nd place, Darcy Ward. Great first corner from the German to get himself to the front. Ward up high and wide, generating more speed, but just can't find the way through. Batchelor and Kilmacorpy in 3rd and 4th respectively. Out in front once again the German, holding his composure, holding the line. Ward has tried everything in 2nd place to try and work the bike to generate the extra speed required, but at this stage, less than half a lap to go, looks like Smolinski's going to pick up a win.
Well, Smolinski is one rider who started tonight on 22 points, as well as Ward goes close down to the finish line, but that was a super ride from Smolinski. Batchelor looked as though he made a decent start, but Smolinski used a clever line in the early stages of that race. He is an intelligent rider, Martin Smolinski, and he pulled off a fantastic victory there.
Too right, brilliant first corner from the German, and once again, he is coming up with the goods when he really needs it, and once again, he wins another Grand Prix race, moves under 4, and a superb effort because Ward was working really hard in 2nd place.
Smolinski the winner with Darcy Ward 2nd, Troy Batchelor was 3rd there, and Kilmacorpy at the back. And the leaders so far, Holder the Maxima man, Woffenden and Jonsson on 5.
Yeah, disappointment for Kilmacorpy, the wild card there. I'm sure they'll be doing some surgery to the equipment, but here we see the start again. Great start from the outside. What a first corner. Ward often does that, doesn't he? Very nearly got himself to the front, but Smolinski shuts the door as they come off the first turn. Just for a moment, I thought Ward might be able to make a move here, but it's very difficult with these long straights and narrow exits and entrances to the turns. It's so difficult to find a way through. And the Australian in 2nd place really does try everything he can, but Martin Smolinski out in front was terrific.
I got double hit. Get ready with that one then. Yeah, short. Over here. Come here.
So the tractors are out and more water to come out onto this Tampere track here. We do have freezing winters. In fact, there is an area on the infield here which isn't grass, and that is because it is a former ice hockey playing surface. You can see it there. The brown area on the infield is actually a former ice hockey playing surface, and that is a measure of how cold the temperatures are here.
Very cold
during the winter. Absolutely right.
Minus 25, I think.
Really, 8 races gone here in Tampere, and Martin Smolinski, a fine winner of that last race. He's with Jason Harold.
Well, Martin Smolinski, you were involved in that spill with Ty Woofenden and you bounced back to pick yourself up for a win. What a start that was.
Yeah, the first start was not like I want to have it, and I just missed a bit the gate. The second time I couldn't go on a rod because it was too deep and my exhaust pipe was standing on the floor, so I didn't have much time, but we changed, I changed the bike after a crash and we made some small adjustments and the bike is fast now and really looking forward for the next heats.
What's it like getting off that start now?
It's not very easy because the way until the first turn is very long and the people from inside gates moving out, from the outside we're moving in, so it goes a battle just for the first turn. You could see it was very close, but it's going good.
Your engine seems to be pulling you there to the first corner well enough.
That's the way we want to be, first in the first corner.
Well, I know that you've got 2 on the bounce. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much, boys. See you later. Here we go.
Yep, terrific stuff from him. He really is fired up, and he's taking this opportunity in the Grand Prix with both hands and made a few adjustments. He actually talked about the fact that the exhaust pipe was on the ground and he had to move across and find a new place to start from. I spoke about the ruts earlier on, and already at this early stage that riders are having to be very careful, because if you don't get the right place, it can cause you problems. Dreadful start for tonight to Niels Christian Iversen, my pick, of course. And he hasn't managed to score a point so far, so he needs to really do something quite spectacular in his next 3. Track prep going on. Frustrating for riders, Nige, because you saw how hard and how fast Ward was in second place then, and as hard as he did try, no way of getting through. Really frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine, because riders do have speed and there is just no way through. Kenneth Pierre is now with Jason.
Well, Kenneth Pierre's with me. Kenneth, how's your shoulder holding up?
It's still in place, it's all right. Well, it's not good, but it is how it is.
How is the track riding for you now tonight?
Nightmare when I'm last off the starts. I need to focus a bit more on the starts and do a bit changing, and hopefully make me better off the starts, and out in front I think it's a lot easier.
Is the form tonight purely mechanical, or is the injury playing on your mind?
Well, it's a 50-50. I'm not really feeling comfortable on the bike. I'm not as strong at this side as I'm the other one, and struggle a bit holding on the handlebars. But the main problem is coming off the starts, and off the starts it doesn't feel my injury, so it's no excuse.
Thank you, Kenneth. Cheers. All the best.
Well, no excuses from Kenneth Pierre, to be fair to him. He's yet to score a point, but Kelvin, it's far from ideal. He must be in pain.
Yeah, it's never easy, and he's not making any excuses, but in his mind, in the back of his mind, he may just be a little bit cautious about that. Doesn't want to re-injure it. Not easy.
Andreas Jonsson is very quick tonight, and he is with Jason.
Andreas Jonsson, congratulations, 2 rides, 5 points. You're heading once again for the semi-finals, 3rd time on the trot. Your form in the Grand Prix is going well this year.
Better anyway, struggled a little bit in New Zealand, getting better in Bydgoszcz, and now it looks pretty good, but it's only 2 heats, so it's a long way to go.
It's also a long way to the first corner, everybody's saying. How are you finding the starts tonight?
It is difficult, but got the bike set up pretty right and pulls really good from the start. So, and if it does that, it makes it much easier.
Are you happy though out there on the track? Because a lot of people are saying there's not much width. How's it been for you?
It is tight, really tight and that. But if you're in the lead, if you're in the front and riding alone, then it's no problem. Then it's nice. But it's just these things when you're coming into the corner and a couple of guys next to you, then it makes a tricky situation. But so far for me, it's been okay. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a great start for tonight's meeting for AJ, and certainly he's working very well. It's going to be hard work for all concerned here this evening, I would suggest, with the track conditions. If you don't get to the first corner, you're going to have to find something extra special if you're going to make a move. Hancock's coming up again soon, and he's had a hard time.
Well, Kenneth Pierre is going to be speaking in his native Danish language to the Danish TV colleagues here. Very, very tough for a man to come back so soon after a broken collarbone, and as Kelvin mentioned a few moments ago, he has got a pretty awful injury record, Kenneth Pierre. On his day, when he makes the start and leads a race, he's very hard to pass, and he's a very, very fast rider. But you do have to question how he will be feeling if he walks away from here with only a couple of points to his name, whether it was all actually worth it, Kelvin.
Tough one, isn't it?
det
You know,
er
you
mig
come
eller
in here,
cyklen,
you're desperate to
men
try
vi
and
har
get on
ændret
the
lidt på
score
cyklen
chart
også
and
i
get your
starten,
Grand Prix,
altså,
keep your Grand Prix
det er ikke ret mange
season
overhældinger i
going.
dagen. Måske den eneste
He
eneste
felt
overhældning,
that
der
he
blev lavet,
needed
det
to
er på
do
mig
that,
måske, fordi jeg prøver at holde
but
ham
so
foran.
far it's not
Den
looking
er
good
svær
for
ude i
him. And
banen.
he's being very honest
håber, jeg kan lave en
about,
start, og så håber, det er
you
lidt
know, in
lettere.
his interview there.
Jeg skal også høre til
But,
dit helbred, hvordan går det med
Yeah,
kravbenet?
he'll be
Kan du holde ud?
desperately keen to try and get
Godt holde
something
ud,
out of
men
it. We
det er
saw
selvfølgelig
Hancock
ikke
go 3
optimalt,
last
men,
places in New Zealand and then won
kravbenet
his
er ikke en
last
undskyldning
2
for
to
at
come
komme ud
away
af
with
starten.
6
Der mærker
points.
jeg
So,
ingenting. Det
you know,
bliver
maybe
ude
he
på
can do
omgangen,
something
og,
like that.
Yeah, and of
ja,
course,
sidst
every
alligevel,
point
så,
counts towards
Ja,
your
man
overall
prøver at levere
total in
en
the
start,
GP
så kan man
series.
ikke
So
noget.
Certainly does, yeah.
it's motivation enough to never give up, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why that system is in place, and you know that's why he's here. He's worked very hard to get back into the Grand Prix series, and even though he's struggling with the injury, he wants to do something in this year's series. So, yeah, you can understand why he's here.
Nice stadium here in Tampere.
Lovely stadium in Tampere. I've got to say, with the sun on its back as well, it makes it extra special, and it's fresh and clean here. It's lovely.
Just think though that a bit of modification to the track, maybe bring the corners in a little bit, give a little bit more
They will
width.
have to. The racing is very difficult, and as I said, it can be frustrating as a rider. Ward epitomised that. He had more speed than Smolinski in second place, and he worked really hard. You know, there's inside and outside, and there was just no way he could find a way through. So let's hope that we see some overtaking and some better action as the meeting progresses. But it is very much now, you know, a race to that first corner. If you get your nose in front, then the points are going to come relatively easy to you.
Yep, it's the water coming out onto the track now. It's obviously one of those where you have to try and keep the dust under control.
There's not as much grip as there was yesterday. There's no question that when they've relayed the track overnight, the track gone down firmer than it had yesterday. It might be the fact that the sun has been beating on it and lots of water going on it. It's almost like it's really gone down really solid. Could almost do with just being sort of ripped up a little bit on the outside to create more grip, to give the riders the opportunity to use the outside of the track in the corners. Obviously that's not always easy with a temporary surface. You can be a little bit nervous about sort of really disturbing it too much. But it is a different track to yesterday. There was definitely more grip.
Yep, very much so. As we wait for heat number 9, we prepare for the action here with Smolinski out again in the blue helmet colour. As we await the arrival of the riders, the 2-minute warning not quite on yet.
Smolinski's been a revelation. Winning in New Zealand was just fantastic. 7 points in Bydgoszcz. He's won another race here tonight. He's not riding in many leagues. He's concentrating solely all his energies into the GP. I've never seen him ride at this level consistently before. I must say, it's a fabulous effort so far from the German, and no bad thing that we've got another nationality competing at the highest level.
Here we go with heat number 9 then, as we build up to the action with Martin Smolinski here, and the man in the red helmet colour, Kauko Nieminen, the man who replaces Christoph Kasperzak here in heat number 9, building up to the action as we look towards another fast start here for Smolinski. The man in yellow is Niels Christian Iversen, looking to get it right here. After
well, both Greg Hancock and Iversen have really struggled so far, and you know, inexplicably Iversen, who dropped the clutch at the right time in the previous race, just had so much wheel spin he just couldn't get the bike to the first corner at all, and he just hasn't been able to land a blow. And for a rider that's been in such good form, he'll be desperately disappointed with that. Zagar on the inside has started pretty well, and he's amongst the points, 4 points to his name. And the German Martin Smolinski coming out of gate 2, keep your eyes peeled on him.
Here we go with heat number 9 then, here in Tampere, with Kauko Nieminen going off the inside in red. Martin Smolinski is going off gate number 2 in blue. It's Greg Hancock, gate 3 in white from the USA, and Niels Christian Iversen yet to score a point, which is a bit of a surprise here on the form that he's been showing. He goes off the outside in yellow. Nieminen big night for him. 2 points for Kauko Nieminen so far, has acquitted himself superbly. A lively, likeable character as well. He really is. Certainly riding ever so well here in the Finnish Grand Prix tonight.
Yeah, solid second place last time. He wasn't as fast as he would have liked, but he hung on in there. And because it's difficult to pass, the boys behind him just couldn't find a way through. So keep your eyes on the two lads on the outside here. Hancock and Everson failed to score so far. They'll be very keen to get amongst the points this time.
Here we go. Certainly at the start there, that was very unsatisfactory. The referee straight away putting the red lights on. And Krista Gardell.
I want to see that again because I don't know if he moved too early or not.
Well, he didn't mess about putting the red lights on, Kelvin.
No,
they were straight on.
They were straight on. Let's have a look, see exactly if Smolinski moves before the tapes. Oh, it's a tight one, isn't it? That's a tight one. It just looks like he might just have made an absolute peach of a start, and he'll feel a bit aggrieved about that. Yeah, he's made a great one. And unfortunately, referees sort of feel that he must have moved before the tapes have gone. And, have to do it again, but I'll tell you what, that was a jet-propelled start from gate 2.
Yeah, very much so. And
Dragon, it's not flowing this meeting tonight so far, Nigel. There's been restarts and it's not got into a rhythm. I think everybody concerned here is just not quite kicking into gear. There again, we've got a restart. They're all coming back. Pressure on Hancock. As such an experienced rider, of course. He was a little bit concerned after practice. He wasn't quite sure how to set the bike up and what to expect. Everson obviously has been shocked by the fact that he's not performing at the high level he's become accustomed to. Nieminen coming in at the 11th hour. Picking up a couple of points, he'll be absolutely delighted about that.
Didn't look nervous at all before the meeting either, Kauko Nieminen.
Doesn't have to be, does
Very
it? Very
calm and just here to enjoy himself.
Exactly, you know, riding in a Grand Prix in your home country, and the fact is that he's got 5 opportunities here tonight, smashing time, you know, and he'll remember it forever.
Absolutely right. Martin Smolinski doing a bit of grass tracking to get back to the start line as we prepare for the restart of heat number 9. A reminder, the next Grand Prix after tonight, it is a fortnight's time at the Markéta Stadium in Prague.
Yeah, and we've seen, of course, the World Cup was held there. We saw some terrific action there. Smashing place to visit as well, very lively place, Prague. And keep our fingers crossed that we see a very lively GP there in a fortnight.
So, heat number 9. Here we go then, as we see the man in yellow, Niels Christian Everson, riding the Polish League, the Swedish League, the British League with Kings Lynn, who are on a great run of form right now. And here in the GP Series as well, Everson riding virtually every day for, what, around 10 days, he was telling us.
Yeah, he is. He's here, there and everywhere for at least 10 days. And he did say it's a bit crazy right now, but he said he's just got to get through it. He'll be disappointed so far. He's got to turn his night around.
Heat 9, Kauko Nieminen going off the inside in red from Finland. Martin Smolinski, gate 2 in blue. Gate 3 is Greg Hancock in white. Niels Christian Everson going off the outside in yellow. Heat 9 it is. Can Smolinski make it 2 wins on the trot? Can Everson get his first points on the board? There'll be concern amongst his team in the pits area, and someone like Niels, a top performer, world number 3, remember. And Greg Hancock yet to score a point as well.
Well, yeah, very surprising to see those 2 riders failing to score so far. So, yeah, pressure on if they want to make the semi-finals. Really could do with 3 points here at the very least.
Here we go with heat number 9 then. Mr. Gardell, the referee. Up to that first turn, Hancock's made a good one off gate number 3. That's a trademark Greg Hancock start. And now Everson trying to come around the outside of the man in red, Kauko Nieminen. And surprisingly now, Martin Smolinski is trailing at the back. Smolinski is going to go wide and try and get around Nieminen. But the lead is with Greg Hancock, who's finally got it right in his 3rd outing here. Great start, and Everson holds 2nd, and 3rd is Kauko Nieminen.
Yeah, Greg Hancock made a really good start from gate 3 there, and the bike looks pretty good. A little bit tricky going into turn 3, but once again, Everson, who was out of gate 4, was spinning all the way to the first corner, but the bike is beginning to work an awful lot better, and they're pulling away. Disappointment for the German this time, who was a fine winner. Just shows you how important it is to make the start. Smolinski won in fine style in his previous ride. Doesn't make the start this time. He's struggling out the back, and Kauko Nieminen in 3rd place. Everson's got speed now, Nigel, in 2nd place. He's got plenty of speed, and Hancock's having to hang on a little bit here at the end of towards the end of the race.
Yep, riding well here, Greg Hancock, twice world champion, of course, has that lead, and Everson is really having a go, but he's done enough, Greg Hancock, and that still gives him a chance of getting into the semi-finals. Hancock the race winner, with Everson second, and Niemanen picking up another point here at the expense of Martin Smolinski, but that's more like it from Greg Hancock in the white helmet colour, rider number 45. Greg Hancock, and this is the first year, of course, where the riders have been able to pick their own numbers in the Grand Prix series. And rider number 45 beats rider number 88, Niels Christian Everson, who gets his first points on the board. Both those riders their first points of the night. Niemanen getting third place, and he's got 3 from 3 rides. And at the back was Martin Smolinski. Holder leads with a maximum of 6, and Woffenden and Jonsson are on 5 points apiece. A host of riders on 4 as well. That's more like it from Greg.
Yeah, and you know, no surprise that he turns his fortunes around. They would have really had to work and think about the bike setup they required, and then here in his third ride coming out of gate 3, he makes a really super start. Jaakko Niemanen once again very much in the thick of the action at this early stage of the race, but Everson there just gets the run on him coming off the outside gate, gets himself into second place. Sets about Greg Hancock. For a moment there, he did have a little bit more speed than Hancock out in front, and he closed in on the American, but once again, as we've seen all night so far, when a rider hits the front, it's very difficult indeed to pass him. Hancock won't be worrying about that right now. He'll be just delighted that he's got some points on the board. He's got gate 4 and gate 1 left. Well, you never know. He's the sort of rider that might be able to pick up 2 more wins. Everson clearly frustrated, no question about it. He's going to need to probably win his last 2 rides to give himself an outside chance at the semis.
Yep, so here we go with heat number 10, the halfway stage of the qualifying heats, and again, quite a lineup here. Darcy Ward off the inside, Zagar and Lindgren off the middle 2 gates, Hampel off the outside under a bit of pressure for points here as well, Kelv.
Yes, he is, and Hampel has started the evening poorly. He hasn't shown a lot of speed, but we've seen that from him on plenty of occasions. He then makes some tweaks to the kit, and he sort of suddenly is jet propelled. He makes starts and is very difficult to pass once he hits there, but once again, this is a really good looking lineup.
Very much so. Heat number 10 it is then. Darcy Ward off the inside with 3 points to his name. Mate Zagar goes off gate number 2 in blue. Freddie Lindgren, gate 3 in white. Jarek Hampel goes off the outside in yellow. Your lineup for heat number 10. Pressure on the world, number 2 off gate 4.
Dead right, and he hasn't had speed, and as I say, he'll be very keen to make sure that he does something here. So important to get to the first corner, nigh on impossible to pass at this stage of the night. Darcy Ward could be dangerous on the inside as well. He's been charging hard. Tough out there this evening.
In number 10 it is then, and the tape tries, and who is going to get into that first turn? Zagar's made a good one, but look at that from Hampel, and Zagar goes square. Ward's gone square as well in that first turn, and Zagar now comes up the inside of Darcy Ward, who's relegated to 3rd place right now. Ward is going to switch. The lead is with Hampel, that's clear, and now Zagar is second with Darcy Ward trying absolutely everything now. The inside line, can he take Zagar wide? Oh, almost loses it.
Very much so. It's a tough tussle there for second place. Zagar leaving the door open there for Ward, keeps running wide. Ward pushing hard in 3rd place. Hampel, as he so often does. Oh my goodness, how on earth did Ward miss the back of Zagar? Trying so hard, he's so frustrated to try and make a move on the Slovenian in 2nd place. Hampel's out in front, turning his night around.
Yeah, Hampel going into the final lap of heat number 10, looking good here. And you say turning the night around.
Oh,
and the back, Lindgren's gone down as well. And we're into the last lap, so I'm sure the referee will allow the race to be completed, because you can't have any awarded races, of course, in FIM rules. And the win is for Jarek Hampel.
Yep.
2nd place in blue, Mate Zagar. 3rd in red, Darcy Ward. And good that Freddie Lindgren was able to get up and clear the track and doesn't appear to be badly hurt there. Always good to see riders get up from crashes. We saw one earlier tonight, of course, with Woffenden and Smolinski. And always good to see them get up.
Just slipped
from
off,
crashes.
didn't he? There looks like there's a small rut appearing on the entrance to the first corner, and he just clipped it and got himself in trouble. Great effort from Ward in 3rd place, but couldn't do anything about it. But Hampel, more like it.
Hampel, the race winner, with Mate Zagar 2nd, moving on to 6th. That's a good effort from Zagar, the Slovenian, of course. And 3rd there, Darcy Ward. with Freddie Lindgren trailing at the back. Zagar moves on to 6th, level with Holder, who's got a race in hand.
Yeah.
Wolfenden and Jonsson and Hampel on 5. And then you have a clutch of riders on 4 points apiece. And still riders like Hancock and Everson are in with a chance of getting into the semis with a couple of wins.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, really tight to get to the semis tonight. People are going to be pulling points off each other. They're just straightened up there, and Ward moved around the inside, but then has to run wide. No speed down the straight. Zagar's able to get up the inside. Bit of action there, and then as the race continues, of course, we've got Lindgren there just slipping off the bike as they go into the last lap. Hampel, once again, just showing what a professional he is. He really does turn it on here, and it's a super 3 points for him, vital 3 points, it would suggest, if he wants to progress here this evening. And the Polish rider very often does this sort of thing. So Ward was trying everything, but a good solid performance from Zagar in 2nd place.
Yep, very much so. As we move on to heat 11, Freddie Lindgren walking back to the pits. Pride hurt, and the fact that he's on
having a tough year
points
isn't
now.
he?
Yeah,
It's not going his way. He's not riding in the UK this year. He's really focusing on the continental scene, and his Grand Prix campaign so far has been really difficult. Freddie, who had an invite back into the series this year, knows that after a decent start in New Zealand, he really does have to warrant his place in next year's series. He's got to earn it, I would think.
yep, very much so. As we build up to heat number 11 now. Here's your lineup. Going off the inside gate is Jonas Kilmakorpi with 2 points to his name. Chris Holder off gate number 2 in blue. Maximum Matt. Chris Harris looking much more like the rider we know he can be tonight. Off gate number 3 in white. Going off the outside in yellow, Kenneth Pierre struggling with that collarbone injury, of course, as we build up to heat number 11.
Yeah, well, Harris is certainly pushing hard, and he's shown pretty decent speed as well. If he can make a start, I'm sure he'll win a race. Holder's the danger man, he's the form man, unbeaten so far. The Aussie man coming out of gate 2.
Here we go, heat number 11. Not the best of starts that time for Holder, because Pierre's made a beauty off the outside gate. Where has he found that from?
Wow.
Sensational start from Kenneth Pierre. Holder holds 2nd. Harris coming wide around the outside into 3rd place now as well, to get the better of the wild card Jonas Kilmakorpi. But Kenneth Pierre with a stunning start to heat number 11. Holder 2nd, Harris 3rd, Kilmakorpi at the back.
Well, in his interview he said there's no excuses, I've just got to get out there and do better, and certainly he is. What a superstar from Kenneth Pierre, out in front, suffering with that collarbone injury. Long since he's broken it. Holder beginning to charge in 2nd place, but it's no bad thing here for Holder. Yeah, there's a rut there in the inside of the first corner, because he just momentarily straightened up. 2nd place, he'll move on to 8, that'll almost certainly put him in the semi-finals. But Kenneth Pierre giving himself a chance here tonight. This is why he came, showing good character here, Pierre.
Yep, very much so, and this will make him feel a lot better. Maybe the pain in the collarbone isn't quite so bad right now as he goes into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It's the Dane, it's Kenneth Pierre taking the checkered flag. Chris Holder was 2nd there, 3rd Chris Harris, and trailing at the back Jonas Kilmakorpi. So Holder is beaten for the first time tonight, but those 2 points are enough to put Holder through to the semi-finals, you would think, with 8 points to his name now.
Got to be a good chance, isn't it?
And it puts him 5 points behind Christoph Kasperzak, the series leader, as well, even more significantly. Yeah, very much
very
so.
significant, and as I said in commentary, I think that 2nd place wouldn't be too much of a problem for him, but a big surprise, Pierre coming good.
Kenneth Pierre the winner, with Chris Holder 2nd, Chris Harris was 3rd. Trailing there was Jonas Kilmakorpi. That was a fine ride by Kenneth Pierre. Another couple of those and he'll get into the semi-finals, you feel.
Yeah.
So a big win for Pierre. It's ironic, isn't it? We've seen riders score for the first time tonight in this last round of heats. Everson, Hancock and now Pierre getting off the mark with a victory. A big win for Kenneth Pierre in heat
and
number
when
11.
you work so hard to get back in the series, you know, you don't want to give it away. He knows, you know, he's now an experienced rider, Kenneth Pierre, and I tell you what, this has shown some terrific guts and determination to come out and do this. It's an excellent start from him. Holder, of course, unbeaten at this coming into this heat, does a decent job out of gate 2 and runs solidly in 2nd place, with Chris Harris, the Englishman, there charging hard in 3rd place, and Kilmakorpi struggling to find points at this midway point of the meeting. But Holder on 8 points, he'll be pleased with that. Kenneth Pierre, he'll be pleased. The whole team will be pleased. Nothing worse than going through your first couple of rides without scoring. 3 points to his name. How hard has Darcy Ward worked for 4 points? If anybody deserves a win tonight, it's him. But key to tonight is if you don't make the starts, it's going to be tough. You've got to find a start from somewhere.
Heat 12 coming up. Will be an interval after this heat for more track grading and watering here as we build up to heat number 12. Man in red is Ty Woofenden, reigning world champion with 5 points out of 6 so far. Certainly riding a lot better, no doubt about that. Woofenden off the inside, then Troy Batchelor, who won his opening riding some style, goes off gate 2 in blue. Andreas Jonsson, gate 3 in white, looking very quick when he makes the start. Nicky Pedersen going off the outside in yellow.
Big ruts on the start line now, really tough to make the decision where you're going to start from. You don't want the bike rounding out, you don't want the exhaust pipe to catch the circuit as you go forward. Woofenden on the inside. I'll tell you what, Pedersen was pretty impressive last time, won in fine style, as did Andreas Jonsson, who has enjoyed a decent Grand Prix campaign so far. He also was invited back in. But this is tense times, it's a tough race. All these riders have been amongst the points so far.
Yep, here we go with heat number 12 then here in Tampere, Finland, and it's a good start from Batchelor off gate number 2. Pedersen is going to go wide in yellow now to try and come through, and Woofenden is there in second place. Oh, gets a bit of drive as well, but Batchelor has the lead now. Troy Batchelor of Australia, who's already won one race tonight, has that lead with Woofenden second. Nicky Pedersen is third, and at the back in white here is Andreas Jonsson, and Woofenden is giving it everything here. Oh! Woofenden up the inside of Batchelor, and they're wheel to wheel. Woofenden is ruthless.
Fantastic, slammed the door shut. Batchelor made the mistake by running too wide. Woofenden was there on the inside and was able to pounce, gets himself to the front nicely. Pedersen there's a rut there, just causing problems for riders. They go through the first corner. Surprise is Andreas Jonsson, who's been enjoying a good Grand Prix but missed the start and is not being able to land a blow. The world champion almost back to his best here, I would suggest, in the right place at the right time.
Yep, and the little bit of confusion here.
Three-lap race. Three-lap race.
Three-lap race. Is that going to have to be done again? Oh. That's the question. The checkered flag came out, and Woofenden's still going round.
Oh dear.
Slight problem here now. That is going to have to be rerun. I'm pretty certain about that.
Riders are going to be furious about that.
That's, and Woofenden's going to have to do it all again. We await for a result or a decision from the referee. The referee will have to make a decision here as to what the position is, but it did seem as though the checkered flag came out a lap early. Woofenden carried on, thinking that he had another lap to go. And I would suspect that the decision will be that they're going to have to do it again, Kelvin.
Well, it's unsatisfactory whichever way you look at it, and it's a tough one, isn't it? Because he's the only one that's really got it to lose. He'd ridden really well to get to the front. He's clearly unhappy about it. And I just wonder whether the lady on the start line there was handed the wrong flag. She may well have been handed the checkered flag instead of the last lap flag, and that's why it was shown to the riders as they completed the third lap.
So,
tough time.
Confirmed, and it is a rerun, and Woofenden will be thinking, hang on a minute, what is going on here? But they are the rules. That is the way it is. The checkered flag was shown a lap early, and we have to have a rerun and do heat number 12 all over again.
Yeah, not ideal, far from satisfactory. I feel for the riders here. Obviously Pedersen and Andreas Jonsson, of course, he's not too worried, is he? Because he was out the back, but unfortunately she's showing, well, that says the race, I don't know, that's as he completed the fourth lap. I would suggest what's happened, Nigel, is that the lady on the start line there was handed the checkered flag a lap early. That may well have been the reason that it was shown. But Nicky Pedersen in third place, he'll be looking forward to the rerun. That man won't be, of course, because he won the race and probably can't quite believe it.
Yeah, and Tony Olsen will just have to explain to Ty Woofenden there that they are the rules. It's the way it is. It's unfortunate, but he's going to have to do it again. So the one race where we've seen a pass for the race win will not count because of the unfortunate situation that developed there.
Well,
mistakes do happen,
they
but
do, and it happened at an unfortunate time. It's I suspect you know, it's happened, and we just got to get on with it. As I said, Andreas Jonsson, who had a decent performance so far, 5 points for 2 rides, was out the back, dead and buried. Now all of a sudden he's got a second chance here to qualify for the semi-finals if he comes out and wins the rerun. So Pedersen also, who had won his previous race, a chance for him. And Batchelor, who made the mistake, made a super start from gate 2 initially, and then ran too wide. Just got a little bit tense on the bike, possibly trying a little bit too hard. He ran wide, and that allowed Woofenden up the inside. But that man there clearly now, this tests you. This tests you as a man. He's coming back. He's turned his fortunes around, riding really well tonight. Got to the front, and then all of a sudden, no, you've got to do it again.
Yep, unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. It's a little bit disappointing, of course, for the guys that were up front there, particularly Ty Woofenden. He knows that he's got to do it all again, worked oh so hard for that victory, or that potential victory.
Yeah, as I say, Andreas Jonsson's got the second chance, hasn't he? He won't be too worried about the fact that he can go out and do it again, because he wasn't going to score in the race. He was at the back. So for him, you know, he's thinking, right, okay, good news. A bit of a bonus. But for that man, entirely the different emotion. He's got to put it out of his mind now and then try and refocus and get himself to the front. We've seen him do it before. You know, his performances last year were just extraordinary, you know, with the injuries and the determination to be world champion. And Pedersen, you know, he is fully aware of what's on the line here. So, you know, if there's an opportunity going, I'm sure he won't want to miss out.
Did that happen to you in your career? Were you leading a race when it was stopped?
I actually had an interesting scenario where I won a Grand Prix on the long track, and it was asked to be rerun.
Here we see it. The checkered flag is out there, and that's after 3 laps.
Yeah, and I think, as I said before, I think possibly she may have been handed that and hasn't really recognised the fact that she should have been showing the last lap flag rather than the checkered flag. Yeah, you asked the question whether it happened to me. Yes, it did. I won the final of a Grand Prix on the long track, and then there was somebody supposedly impeded on the start, and they asked for it to be rerun again, but it had completed all 4 laps. It was an awful situation. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. Batchelor made the start initially out of gate 2, and he's enjoying a pretty decent Grand Prix, isn't he? You know, he looked like he was struggling a bit in Bydgoszcz. He did win a race in Bydgoszcz. If he'd won his last race in Bydgoszcz, would have made the semi-finals with the 2 race wins, but actually tried to jump the start, didn't he? He was a bit too keen and backfired on him. Sun's still out. Of course, we're 2 hours ahead in here, aren't we, in the UK? So it doesn't get dark hardly at all, in actual fact.
That's right.
It's midnight before it really even goes dusk, so long days.
Well, the riders will prepare for action once again. The 2-minute time allowance is on. It's one of those evenings, really, where there's 1 or 2 frustrating delays creeping in and not good for the crowd. 23 minutes to 9 finish time here right now, and we're up to heat number 12. And nobody more frustrated than Ty Woofenden there. Yep, absolutely.
Tough. You know, as I said when we were chatting about it when they were preparing, it's a test now for him, because you know, you've got to show your mettle. Somehow you have to put the frustrations of what's happened out and try and reproduce it. Often you see reruns, the rider that gets penalised is the one that was winning the race. So, you know, from his perspective and his team's perspective, they'll be very keen that that doesn't happen.
Here we go then, heat number 12 for the second time of asking. Same lineup across the grid. It's Woofenden off the inside in red. Troy Batchelor goes off gate number 2 in blue. Andreas Jonsson is off gate 3 in white. And Nicky Pedersen, who started tonight on the 24-point mark, he goes off the outside in yellow. It's a second chance here for those riders that were beaten by Woofenden in the initial stages of that race. Here we go again with heat 12. After this race, every rider will have completed 3 rides, and it will be taking shape nicely in terms of who may make the semi-finals.
Andreas Johnson's just settling down quickly. He's avoided going in a rut this time. It may well be the reason why he didn't make the start. Interesting to see how he goes on the fresh pace.
So here we go then, second time of asking. Bachelor's made a beauty again, and now Woffenden is going to try the inside line. Woffenden's got speed as he goes wide. He gets some drive, and now Woffenden has got the lead. Troy Batchelor is second, Nicky Pedersen is third, Andreas Johnson is at the back, and if it stays like this, this is how it was when the checkered flag came out after 3 laps, first time out.
Can't believe it. Incredible, isn't it? Brilliant first corner from the champion. Just coming off the corner, it looked like Batchelor was going to get himself to the front, but the extra little bit of drive right on the inside there for Woffenden just literally fired him to the front, and he's pulling away once again, showing terrific speed. The danger man for Batchelor is Pedersen. Pedersen trying everything in third place to get to second. Watch him up the inside here. Whoa! Up the inside of Batchelor. Brilliant pass. Runs wide. Leaves the door open. Neck and neck. Pedersen now to the inside. Super speedway. Bursting to life.
Into the last lap we go. Woffenden is the clear leader, and Batchelor and Pedersen throwing the bike at each other. Down the back straight they go. At the back is Johnson, but Woffenden has that lead. Second place is Nicky Pedersen, and now Johnson having a go on Batchelor, who holds on for third. Decent race there, heat number 12, and Ty Woffenden will feel justice is done.
Brilliant from the world champion. Showed tremendous composure there to make sure that he wins the rerun. He'll be buoyed by that. That will only enhance his confidence to come out and do that when he felt that he should have already have won the race. And a brilliant first corner from him. He celebrates in front of the crowd here with a big wheelie down the start and finish straight, and deservedly so. He showed terrific character there.
Yep, so Ty Woffenden takes the victory. Nicky Pedersen working hard for second place there then, and Woffenden and Holder, they lead the GP on 8 points each from 3 rides.
Yeah, that was more like it, wasn't it? You know, was a bit of action through the race there, and certainly Pedersen livening the proceedings up. I should have expected that, really. He's such a hard charger. Brilliant first corner. Look at this. Now just gets the dirt when he needed it. Got over the front of the bike. Used that extra bit of drive. Then there's a real good tussle here for second and third. Pedersen coming up the inside, running wide. Batchelor then getting back to the inside, but Pedersen reads it and gets himself to second place. So yeah, nice bit of action for the crowd and for us to get excited about. That's good news. And Pedersen will be chuffed to bits that he's got 5 points from his last 2 rides. Disappointment from AJ, he was out the back, but yep, smashing stuff from the champion.
Yep, much more like it then from Ty Woffenden, and shows that he's really oozing confidence once again when he goes out and wins it again after the initial stages. He's a lot more relaxed, he's a lot happier, and he's looking very, very quick tonight, Kelv.
Yeah, he's won a couple of races, and when he has done, he's pulled further and further away. He's got great speed in the motorbike, so it's working very well.
Well, Greg Hancock has bounced back after a disappointing start. He's with Jason.
Greg Hancock, a great way to bounce back after a couple of pointless first rides. Tell us what happened with the bike in Heat 1.
Just one of them mystery problems, you know, with the bike in the first one, and sometimes it happens, but then a sad 0 again in my second one, but now we've got it working, and just got to bang in a couple more now.
A lot of people are saying it's going to be like Auckland all over again for you.
Well, no, it's I don't intend to let that happen. I got to pull this one back out of the hat and get myself back up the ladder.
How are you feeling on the situation where Christoph Kasprzyk, the championship leader before this meeting, had to pull out? Gave a great, I suppose, boost for the rest of you to try and pick up some points and close the gap and possibly overtake.
Well, you know, I mean, it's sad for him, of course, and it's unfortunate. These things happen in the game, and for us, you know, of course, you got to take advantage of it in the right way, and you know, for him, he's got to bounce back and see if he can get that knee in order and get back in the game again.
New track for everybody involved with the Grand Prix. How have you found it tonight here in Tampere?
Well, it's a big, fast track, you know, but it's very one-line-ish. It's you can see that there's not a lot of passing, but the starts are very, very important. But this is Speedway, and most of the time it's like that.
Greg, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff there from Greg Hancock, looking more like it with a win in his third ride. Jason Harold, the man asking the questions. Bit of track rating going on.
Pleased for Greg, because it was a tough start, and he has a great record actually coming to a new track, and it started poorly for him, so he's got to squeak of making the semi-finals with 2 good starts. Working hard on the track and more water going on. Tough to pass, isn't it? You know, like Pedersen really did have to dig deep there to get the better of Batchelor. And he worked hard. Ward there, of course, he's worked overtime. He's only got 4 points, so he needs to do something in his remaining couple of rides to secure a top 8 spot and make the semi-finals here in Tampere.
Well, Ty Woffenden is with our man, Jason Harold.
Ty Woffenden, just talk us through the confusion surrounding heat number 12.
Yeah, the start marshal put the wrong flag out on the wrong lap, you know. It's a stupid mistake when you're racing at this kind of level, you know. So we had to run it again, which was another stupid decision, but they have to finish 4 laps before they can make a decision, you know. So they rerun it, but, you know, I made the most of it and got a race win. Feeling fast. Just got to keep making some starts.
Before the race finished abruptly, it was probably the heat of the night with you coming from behind Troy there.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to do the same, but I just held him off in the first corner. You know, there's still another 2 races yet. 8 points might not be enough for the semi, so just need a few more and make sure we definitely got a spot in that.
Okay, good luck, Ty. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, you know, and as I say, there's been a complete transformation in the world champion in just the last couple of weeks. And he's been able to, you know, utilise the confidence built from racing well in the leagues, and he's reproducing the goods tonight. Doom and gloom here. Niels Christian Iversen is having a really difficult night, just the 2 points from his first 3 rides.
Well, let's hear what Chris Holder has to say. He's with Jason.
Well, Chris Holder, 8 points at this particular part of the meeting. Joint first with Ty Woffenden. Got to be happy with that.
Yeah, very happy. You know, 8 points anytime is pretty good. So to be sitting on 8 now is good with a couple of races, and just got to make good starts. That's what it's down to at the minute. And just getting a few holes in too, so maybe a few mistakes. But yeah, the starts will be the best.
Gate 4 seems to be working particularly well for everybody tonight.
Yeah, 4's been quite good. I think you know, they're all not too bad, but 4 gets the best run for the first corner. You're starting where you'd race normally, so. Yeah, the gates are all up and down, and if you know, some gates are good, but their ruts are too big to get into, so it's tricky.
Looking good. On for the semis. A couple more points will guarantee that.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for, but 2 more heats, a couple of gate 1s, make the most of these and see what happens.
Good luck, Chris.
Yeah, smashing performance from Chris Holder so far. 2 excellent starts and wins, and then a solid 2nd place. So you can see he's satisfied with his work so far. But, you know, he's a former world champion. He's back in the series to be world champion. And I've got to say, I think he might go close. You know, he's a rider that is growing in confidence, and he's getting over those nasty injuries every time he rides the bike. So, yeah, good stuff from him. Hancock still with work to do. 3 points last time out, so he'll know that he needs to keep his concentration going for the last couple of races. So, yeah, wouldn't surprise me, though.
Yep, so far then, we've had 12 heats here in Tampere. Hot temperatures here in Finland, the sun beating down, the riders ready to race here for the first ever Finnish Grand Prix. And gating has been absolutely crucial here. No doubt about that. Troy Batchelor making a pretty good start to the night in his opening ride from gate number 4. Bit of arm swag there, celebrating on one wheel and one arm. Nicky Pedersen with a chance to close the gap on Christoph Kasperzak tonight. Matti Zagar in the thick of the action as well. It's a big track, it's a 400-metre circuit, and it is all about making that start and making maximum use of the speed that you have. Ty Woffenden and Chris Holder, world champions, the last 2 world champions, making the most of it and riding beautifully. At the interval stage, they are the leaders. Woffenden and Holder on 8 points apiece. Drama with that crash between Smolinski and Woffenden. Both riders are thankfully able to get up and walk away from that, and both took their place in the rerun. Woffenden moving on and riding in style. Holder and Woffenden head-to-head. Holder got the better of Woffy on that occasion. Nieminen enjoying life in the Grand Prix. And Woffenden Wolfenden working hard after a 3-lap race, which he was leading at the time that the checkered flag went out after 3 laps, forced to do it all over again. Wolfenden did well to bounce back and win the restart. Pedersen looking strong. Chris Holder again racing hard. Smolinski, as you would expect, in the thick of the action, punching the air with delight. He's got a race win under his belt. And it's very, very fast out there. A lack of passing, gating absolutely vital, but still very, very quick. And we have 8 qualifying races to go to decide who will make the semi-finals here in Tampere. So that's the story so far as the sun beats down here in this Let's Stadium. Let's hear from Wolfenden again.
Night so far. What happened with after the crash? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. I just went under the air fence and hit my head pretty hard on the fence, you know, but I was okay. Got up in the rerun and got some points, and that's the main thing. So still got 2 more races, so we're still going to keep working hard, and yeah, we'll see how the night finishes.
Just another restart. How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, it wasn't the best. Obviously, I passed Bachelor in the first one, and then the guy put the flag out the lap before he should have. And I knew that it was a lap early, so I kept going, but the other guys stopped. So yeah, that happens sometimes. It's a shame because it's such a professional sport and such a silly mistake. But you know, we just make the rerun, and I still make the points, so it's good.
But it seems like you have the resources. You seem very on the top. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. Had a tough start to the season, but you know, the last month I've been working so hard with my whole team and everybody involved, and we started heading in the right direction after Big Gosh. My league racing, I was getting more points, and in England, Sweden, Poland, and come here today and I'm making the points, so we're going to keep fighting.
This could be your night.
Maybe. It's a long way to go, and there's a lot of boys going fast, so can't count your chickens before they've hatched.
Thank you.
Yep, feeling a lot happier, and quite right too.
Sounded like a world champion there, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, very composed, and you know, like he was reflecting on his performances in the league. You know, double figures everywhere, and he's brought it here tonight. Martin Smolinski still well and truly involved here, and made some big decisions not to ride in many leagues. He's focusing just primarily on the Grand Prix, and it's working. It kind of bucks the trend that. Most riders are riding on a regular basis in at least 2 leagues, in Sweden and Poland, some of them in all 3. So Smolinski, who really hasn't got that big a calendar, it's working out for him right now. Certainly he'll be fresh at the end of the year.
Yep, very much so. Jonas Kilmakorpi finding life hard on the biggest stage of all tonight, the World Championship. We know what a specialist he is on the long track, but he is a very good speedway rider as well, Kelvin.
Yeah, he struggled. He looked good in his first ride. He picked up a couple of points, but then subsequently has failed to score. So, yeah, he'll be trying really desperately to win a race in his last 2. As I say, with 2 opportunities left, he still could get to 8 points. But, yeah, he needs to make a tweak or 2 to the equipment because he just hasn't had the pace in his last couple of rides.
Yep. Looking forward to heat number 13, which will be coming up shortly. The track work has been completed, watering done, and more of the track is under the shade now as well. So not so much water perhaps necessary now, Kelvin, because the bends are under the shade.
Yes, that's true, and hopefully there'll be a bit more bite in the material for longer, because it's definitely going very powdery and slick, making it very awkward to pass, and combined with the fact that it's quite narrow, it's a tough ask for riders to really come through the traffic. As the sun goes down, it will potentially be a better racetrack. They're getting ready now, I think, for heat 13. Well, it's not too far away, but good looking lineup. Nicky Pedersen, Darcy Ward, Kenneth Bier, who shocked us with a return to form in his last ride with a win, and Greg Hancock also, after 2 pointless rides, came up with a very useful win. So, yep, competitive at Grand Prix Speedway once again.
Well, we are being told that we are probably 2 or 3 minutes away from racing. Track work, as we say, has been finished, so we're just waiting for the traditional T-shirt competition, the T-shirt giveaway, to conclude as some lucky supporters walk away with a sponsor's t-shirt tonight. And we await the restart of this meeting after the interval heat number 30. We'll move on to Prague in a couple of weeks' time, the Marketa Stadium, where we were for the World Cup last year. And Prague, of course, is the venue where Woffington won his first Grand Prix victory last year as well. So happy memories for Ty.
Yes, he'll be looking forward to going back there. And of course, Emil Sayfutdinov was actually in the final and touched the tapes that night. And he was dominating the World Championship at that stage. And Woffington then won that Grand Prix and really did kick on and charged down. And even when he broke his collarbone in Cardiff, he came back 2 weeks later and got on the rostrum in Gorjov. And it was then a remarkable story how he was able to wear Sayfutdinov down and clinch the World Championship in Torun in October. Riders beginning to prepare themselves. The helmets are on, goggles are in place. Hancock there coming from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. How on earth he maintains his enthusiasm is quite remarkable, you know, when he's in his mid-40s now. And Greg Hancock, the two-time world champion, still as enthusiastic as ever.
Heat 13 coming up then. We're back in business and we have two world champions doing battle here. Nicky Pedersen in red and Greg Hancock in yellow. As we build up to this, and Kenneth Pierre, a winner last time out, and Darcy Ward, arguably the hardest working rider, for 4 points tonight.
Yeah, he's deserved more than that, but he hasn't been able to make starts. And as we've said on more than one occasion tonight, is all about making starts so far. And he is struggling a wee bit with the injury on his left knee. And he's not quite sure what his plans are going to be. He's going to make a big call after tonight's meeting. Just having a few last-minute adjustments with his equipment. Once again, the rear chain being adjusted, clutch being looked after. Pedersen, who worked really hard last time to force his way into second place. He was entertaining in that ride. Pierre, who came out of gate 4 last time, won a race in fine style. He's out of gate 3 this time. I just sense that the meeting could very well really just beginning to liven up.
So here we go with heat number 13 then, and it's Nicky Pedersen going off the inside gate with 6 points to his name. Darcy Ward going off gate number 2 in blue. Gate number 3 in white is Kenneth Pierre, a winner last time out, very impressive. And off the outside is Greg Hancock in yellow, still in with a shout of a semi-final spot tonight. No Krzysztof Kasperzak, the series leader. Chance for Pedersen, Hampel, Hancock, Holder, Smolinski, Ward to all close the gap on Krzysztof Kasperzak over the course of the next 8 races minimum, with the semi-finals to come after that as well.
Yep, great opportunity for Greg Hancock here. Won in fine style last time, but he's coming from the outside, and we've seen quite a lot of race wins from there. Parking right up against the safety fence. He's got the golden tyre on. He'll be hoping that that really just fires him out of gate 4 and he can get himself to the front.
Here we go then, big race again. Pedersen off the inside gate, Hancock off the outside, textbook. Goes wide into the dirt on the outside. Pedersen tries the inside line. Oh, it's all very tight down that back straight, but Hancock has the lead. Nicky Pedersen second, Darcy Ward is third. They've put a lot of water down during the interval. Trailing at the back now here. In this one is Kenneth Pierre, but Greg Hancock looking very impressive. And Ward comes up the inside of Pedersen now.
He does indeed. He's an opportunist move. Nicky Pedersen rather went wide there. Very greasy, really greasy. Certainly Hancock slow and wide. Appreciably they're going through turns 3 and 4, but now stretches his lead once again. It's tricky coming in the corner. Pedersen out of shape. Hits the rut. Conditions really have changed quite drastically here in heat 13. Hancock will be chuffed here if he can hang on. Back-to-back wins, moves on to 6 points. Definitely a chance for the semis with 1 ride to go. Once again, Ward working overtime, but failing at this stage to win the race. But 2 points will give him a chance.
Yep, they will indeed. That'll move Ward on to 6. This will put Hancock onto 6 points as well. And Nicky Pedersen will be on 7. So Nicky Pedersen 7 points now, move him on to 31. He is 4 points behind Krzysztof Kasperzak, the series leader, who, unfortunately for him, of course, tonight is out with that knee injury. But what a ride from Greg Hancock. He started off with a mechanical failure, a last place, and now he's bounced back with 2 wins. And Darcy Ward once again working overtime for his points there. Hancock, Ward, Pedersen and Bier, the finishing order. That was heat number 13.
And conditions were very different, vastly different from heat 12. Greasy, a little bit patchy. I don't think Ward enjoyed that. I reckon that would have put a lot of stress on his knee there, and he dropped away. Standings at this stage with Woofenden after 3 rides, he's on 8 points, as is Chris Holder. But Nicky Pedersen moving on to 7, and Hancock out of nowhere after scoring nothing from his first couple is into 4th place with 6 points. So as I said before, he's got a chance to make his way into the semi-finals with 1 solid ride left, which comes up just a little bit later on the last round of races. And he'll be keeping his fingers crossed. But a great effort from Hancock here. He's from the outside. Just watch what happens in the first corner here, because he doesn't clamp them down. He allows the bike to run quite wide here. Ward there coming off gate 2. Super stuff there from Pedersen. I thought for a moment Pedersen might actually get himself to the front, but Hancock was calm and collected. Good move from Ward up the inside to get the better of Pedersen. Hits that dirt. And, he sets about it. He's working big time, but the track was really tricky here. There's no question that it was very greasy going into the corners, and there's a little bit of a rut on the inside. But Darcy Ward hasn't won a race tonight, but kind of deserves to. But I don't think he really enjoyed that. I think that would have tested his left leg.
Got to ask the question, Kelvin. If Darcy Ward believes that he cannot win the world title, will he then go for surgery on that knee? That is the question.
Good job.
Well, yeah, that's a big question, and there's no doubt that he will be worrying about that. There's some track work going on here. There is a rut there on the inside in the first corner. It is beginning to create a problem or two, so they need to actually, Tony Olsen there, the race director, Ollie Olsen, of course, there, walking out, who was actually laid the track here last year, September. Yeah, lots of concern. We did see riders beginning to straighten up, and with the speed that they're carrying into the corners here, these long straights, we don't want people running into each other too often.
Yep, so we are waiting for heat number 14 for this to be addressed.
Free run here. Keep your eyes on the man on the outside. Kenneth Bier is a nightmare here. I think he just doesn't fancy it at all. Once again, Ward missed the start from gate 2. Super start from the American. Runs very wide. I thought he was very brave to do that. You can see how much water there is. All of a sudden the sun's gone and all the track was quite greasy. Good stuff from Hancock. He's there. He squares the corner off nicely, and Pedersen, even though there's a little bit of extra grip there, can't make it work for him. Ward then works really hard in 2nd place. He chases hard, but kind of gives up the ghost later on in the race, and is not really that happy on the bike. I don't think the 2 boys were best pleased with track conditions in that one, but concern over conditions, because that rut was beginning to get quite pronounced in the first corner. And riders and track staff and organisers out there looking at the offending rut on the entrance or in that first corner, Nigel.
Yep, well, the Grand Prix on hold at the moment, hopefully not for too much longer, as the track staff get to work on that first turn. This is unfortunate when it's the first staging of the Finnish Grand Prix here in Tampere. A nice part of the world, a good stadium, but quite clearly one or two issues with the circuit here.
Yeah, there's a 3-year contract here, and fingers crossed we come back, because it's a smashing place. But I suggest when the track goes back down, they will make some alterations to it to enable the riders to have a little bit more racing room. Here we go with the championship, Nige.
Yep, with Nicky Pedersen closing in on 31, Chris Holder on 30, Hancock right in there on 28 as well. So behind Kasperzak, you have 3 former world champions there, with Jarek Hampel on 27, Ward on 27 as well, Smolinski 26, Lindgren back on 22. That is the latest then. The World Championship after, this is the 3rd round, of course.
Yeah, still outside the top 8 is the world champion, Ty Woofenden, of course, but he's enjoying a really good night, and I think that if he could get away, you know, if he comes in with a really big points haul, then all of a sudden everybody's going to be looking over their shoulder, because Woofenden, when he gets confident and he gets determined like he was last year, you know that he's going to be picking up big hatfuls of points at all the remaining Grand Prix, and it could be quite a an exciting conclusion to this year's series. Disappointing this is frustrating for all concerned, but obviously riders' safety is uppermost in people's minds here because, as I said before, it's such a fast track. You're carrying so much speed, and if you're racing in behind somebody and you hit that rut and you straighten up, there's a very good chance you'll run another rider over. So just trying to take the edge off the rut there so that it lessens the problems.
Well, we have former riders, Kai Laukkanen, Jarno Kossonen, who have been in charge of the organising here in Finland. Well, Darcy Ward, we mentioned him a few moments ago. Let's see how he's feeling now. He's with our man Jason Harold.
Darcy Ward, a bit of track work going on. You've just been out and that rut was there. How was it for you?
Yeah, it's pretty crap, to be honest. But no, you know, it's track's not ideal, and they put a lot of water on there, and so it makes it, you know, that much harder to ride. But you know, it's not the best to watch either, but got to make starts.
You certainly have worked hard for your points tonight. It seems nobody wants to get out there in the mix and lead this GP tonight.
Yeah, I think, you know, the track, to be honest, I don't even like it. So you got to make starts, and there's no passing, and you haven't seen a pass tonight, which is, you know, crap to ride and crap to watch.
It's not been for want of you trying your points. I think you've covered every inch of those bends and straights, haven't you?
Yeah, I've pulled some shape, especially that last one. It was, you know, once those ruts there, and then you hit the bit of water. It was, you know, I thought I was going down a couple of times.
You seem to get a good line inside Nicky P there and kick on from that.
Yep, always good to be Nicky P.
Cheers, Darcy. Good luck.
Not a happy camper, is he?
No, he's not enjoying it, and I can sense his frustration there. He's an out-and-out racer, loves to be able to come through the pack, and he can do at places like Big Gosh, of course. 3 weeks ago, he's able to do that. So it's a real problem for him, and he hasn't made good starts tonight. So even though he's on 7 points, it's you know, he's finding it really difficult.
Yeah, really has worked hard tonight, Darcy Ward, for those points that he's picked up, and obviously hoping that perhaps he can get through to the semi-finals and just
he's
keep
actually on
his
6 points, not on 7. He's on 6 points from 4 rides, so you know he's got a good chance of making the semi-finals, but he's got to come up with something a bit better. But he's coming out of gate 2 against the world champion Ty Wolfenden and Chris Harris in heat 19, so he'll be keen to do something there. We're waiting again, obviously, now for the next heat to come up. Hampel there, who turned his fortunes around. It's a long time since Hampel's been on the track, and the track is very different from when he was out before. So he'll be keeping his fingers crossed that he can maintain his turnaround in form. He's got gate 1, which is not too bad a place to start from.
Well, the track work has been concluded now. There is nobody on the track whatsoever, and the riders haven't been pushed off. The 2 minutes isn't on. Not quite sure what this particular delay is right now, but as we say, the track work has been concluded with that first turn. So,
well, this is a huge race for Niels Christian Iversen here, Nigel.
It is.
He's only got 2 points from 3 rides, and if he's going to have any chance of making the semi-finals, he needs to win this one. He's got the outside gate, which has worked well. Certainly Hancock made it work in his previous ride, winning from gate 4. So Iversen, who we've seen a couple of times in the pits, you can see he's under pressure and slightly confused why he's not enjoying a really good night. Difficult conditions, not making starts, bike setup not dead right. So, as I say, this is almost last chance saloon for him.
Yep, Iversen, world number 3. 2 points from his 3 rides so far. Could do with a victory from gate number 4 here in this heat number 14. It'll be interesting to see how the track settles down here and whether the first turn will cause any problems for the riders after the remedial work that was just done there. And heat number 14 it is. Wolfenden on 8 points so far. He'll go off gate number 2 with Hampel on 5 and Kilmacorpi and Iversen on just 2 points each so far. For Iversen in particular, major disappointment for him as he certainly is capable of challenging for the world title, no question about that. Heat 14 it is then. Here we go, after that slight delay because of track work on that first turn. Here's Jelano. Jarek Hampel off the inside in red then. Gate number 2 in blue is Ty Wolfenden with 8 points out of a possible 9. Jonas Kilmacorpi goes off gate 3 in white. And Niels Christian Iversen is off the outside in yellow.
Be interesting to see how Woofenden deals with gate 2 here. Hasn't been a great place to start from, and he's got a really good starter alongside him in gate 1 in Hampel. And Hampel was strong last time. Kilmacorpy and then Everson respectively on the outside 2 gates have struggled, and Everson in particular with the outside gate he'll know that this is an opportunity for him to give himself an outside squeak of making the semi-finals. But the 2 boys on gates 1 and 2 have both won their last rides.
Here we go with heat number 14 then. Krista Gardell about to put the green light on. Lights raw. Oh, a little bit of movement to the start there, but the red lights have not come on. And the lead here is with the man in white, Jonas Kilmacorpy, and Jari Campbell is almost
Everson
loses it. Everson comes through, and Woofenden is at the back right now. But the lead here is with Jonas Kilmacorpy, who made a fine start. Everson second, Campbell third. Woofenden just jumped slightly at the start and paid the price.
Yeah, penalised himself, and Krista Gardell, the referee, makes the right call. And the race continues. A wild card, Kilmacorpy on his spare bike, riding high and wide. Everson took advantage there, got himself into second place at the early point of the race, but second place for him may not be enough. He really desperately needs to get to the front. Hampel and the 2 race winners previously, Hampel and Woofenden in 3rd and 4th respectively. Kilmacorpy, a lap to go, the wild card, the hometown favourite. Can he do it?
Well, the Finnish fans are delighted with this. Down the back straight he goes. It's a surprise result in many ways, and certainly on the form guide with Jonas Kilmacorpy with that lead. He's going to take the victory. Niels Christian Everson takes second, and third in red was Jari Campbell. Woofenden jumped at the start, punished himself almost, and finished in last place there, and Everson picking up a couple of points. But for Jonas Kilmacorpy, that's a big moment, and the home fans here absolutely delighted.
Yeah, fabulous ride from Kilmacorpy. He moves on to 5 points. He's got 1 ride left, could make the semi-finals. Absolutely delighted to have done that. The home crowd now, as he comes down the start and finish straight, on their feet, delighted to have seen their man win a race. Disappointing in his previous last 2 rides, but comes good in a very competitive race. Super ride from the wildcard.
Yep, so let's just confirm the result for you. Jonas Kilmacorpy, the race winner, with Niels Christian Everson second. Jari Campbell moves on to 6 points. He's third right now there, and standings with Ty Woofenden and Chris Holder on 8. But Woofenden with 1 race more to his name than Chris Holder, of course, and Hampel on 6 points now, still in the top 8.
Yeah, he's scrapping away, isn't he, Hampel? Disappointment, of course, for the world champion that time, but a poor start. But Kilmacorpy, the world long track champion, absolutely flies here. Comes out of gate 3, makes a super start, clear into the first corner. Bit of a rut on the inside there, but he makes light work of that. Everson there gets the better of Hampel as Hampel lifts and loses all his momentum down the back straight. You watch it again here, just takes him by surprise. Really does well to hang on to the bike, and Everson then gets into second place. But for Niels Christian Everson, I'm not sure second place was really what he needed. He needed 3. He's got a ride left, but it's not going to be an outside chance, really, an outside chance. Great news for the wildcard. Kilmacorpy, world long track champion, winning a race here tonight.
Yep, great ride from Jonas Kilmacorpy as we move on to heat number 15 then. Kilmacorpy on 5 points from 4 rides now. The maximum that Everson can get is 7. Can he nick a semi-final place on 7 points? We have seen it, of course, in Grand Prix Speedway.
Well,
top 8.
Last time.
Absolutely.
Smolinski got in on 7, didn't he, in Bidgosh?
He did indeed. 7 points was enough for Smolinski as we build up to heat number 15 now here. Let's go across the grid for you, and that man, Martin Smolinski, is off the inside in red. Going off gate number 2, he's ridden hard tonight. Chris Harris in blue. Gate 3 in white is Andreas Jonsson. Matti Zagar going off the outside in yellow with 6 points to his name as well. Heat 15, Smolinski before tonight on 22 points. And so far with 4 tonight moves him on to 26 then. As we remind you that if you have just joined us, Christoph Kasperzak, the series leader, out of tonight's meeting. It is a question really of how much damage can be done with his lead tonight from his rivals. Heat 15, here we go. Green light ride is on as the bike's drawn. It's a great start from the inside gate to Martin Smolinski, but what about Zagar? Round the outside, Matti Zagar goes. Smolinski is second. Third place here in the white helmet colour is Andreas Jonsson and Chris Harris trailing at the back now, but that was a great ride from Zagar from the outside gate. Smolinski second, Jonsson's having a go, but Smolinski holds second spot now.
Yeah, certainly a super first corner from Zagar from the outside, looks good out in front. I thought for a moment that Smolinski was actually going to get there and from the inside, but Zagar uses that outside run and swoops across. Smolinski working hard in second place. Andreas Jonsson back in third, a little bit uncomfortable on the previous lap. Zagar controlling things and Harris out the back, a little bit tailed off, but the Slovenian Zagar, who hasn't really been at the top of his game in the previous two Grand Prix, this is much more like it. Came into the race on 6 points, is going to move nicely on to 9 and into the semi-finals.
Yeah, riding quite beautifully. We know what a world-class performer he is, Matti Zagar. He's going wide and getting the drive, coming out of turn 4 for the final time. Zagar wins the race. Smolinski was second and third was Andreas Jonsson, with Chris Harris trailing at the back there, but that was a fine ride from Matti Zagar in heat number 15, and that's enough for him. The Bellevue man, he will go through to the semi-final stages here tonight. Matti Zagar with 9 points from 4 rides, a
Good
super
stuff.
effort from him.
Yeah, really good stuff, and he utilised the outside gate there brilliantly. Got across from the outside, won in fine style.
So it's a win for Zagar. Smolinski on 2 points moves on to 6, gives him a chance. Andreas Jonsson with a point, and Chris Harris trailing at the back there. So the standings overall now mean that Zagar leads the GP on 9 points, with Woffington and Holder on 8, but Holder has got a race in hand, and there's a real battle for the top 8 with 5 riders on 6 points apiece.
Oh, it's really tight indeed, and it's not the greatest of action out on track, but the point situation is really getting very interesting indeed. Pressure on as the 20 heats come to their conclusion. Super stuff from Zagar. Sweeps across from the outside, stamps his authority on that first corner and powers down the back straight. Smolinski, the German, once again, solid racing from him. Coming from the inside, makes the best of it to the first corner. Jonsson on the outside of him, but he can't do that. He can't get round the outside, and Harris is out the back, and he'll be really bitterly disappointed with that. Zagar riding nicely here. He controls the race brilliantly, and he'll be pleased, really pleased to have moved on to 9 points, and at this stage into the semi-finals he's enjoying a good Grand Prix and finding some form here in Tampere to really boost his championship chances.
Stylish rider Matti Zagar, no question about that. I know there's a few Bellevue fans that have made the trip across from the UK to support Matti Zagar here this evening. The former Peterborough promoter and Australian team manager James Easter has brought quite a hefty party of people out here
well
from the
supported.
UK. Yeah, very much so. As we build up to heat number 16. Freddie Lindgren is the man in yellow here, and he needs the points. He's got 4 points. If he can make the start and get a win under his belt from the outside gate, he could be in contention for a semi-final spot. Batchelor in white is on 5 points, so points for him here. He'll be in contention as well. Here we go with the lineup. Chris Holder has ridden quite beautifully tonight. He goes off the inside in red. Kauko Nieminen goes off gate number 2 in blue with 3 points to his name. Has certainly enjoyed the experience, no doubt. Troy Batchelor gate 3 in white. Freddie Lindgren off the outside.
Yeah, well, Lindgren fell off last time and was clearly frustrated, but he's got the outside gate. We're seeing how well it's working, and he needs to do something special from there, because Lindgren is still has an outside chance of making the top 8. Had a great Grand Prix in New Zealand, disappointing last time in Bydgoszcz. Can still turn his fortunes around with the top right now.
Here we go with heat number 16 here in Tampere, Finland, and it's a superstar from Nieminen, but Holder's wheel to wheel with it. Oh, and almost loses it there, but Lindgren has the lead. Gate 4 working a treat for fast Freddie Lindgren. Lindgren, who has 1 Grand Prix win in his career, that was at Gothenburg, and that's a similar track to this. It's a big, fast track, and Lindgren has the lead. Second place, Kauko Nieminen, who is in for Christoph Kasperzak. Third is Chris Holder, and trailing at the back is Troy Batchelor.
Well, it was all a bit messy going into the first corner there, and Freddie Lindgren was the winner, certainly in the first corner. Made the best of it from the outside. Kauko Nieminen and Holder were bashing handlebars as they went to the first turn, and Holder had to shut the throttle. Batchelor's out the back, and there's a bit of action for third place. But Freddie Lindgren, desperate for a race win, coming up with the goods. Gate 4 working for him. with a lap to go, Nigel. Looks like he could well be giving himself a chance for the semis.
Real boost for Lindgren. I said in the build-up to the race, a win for Lindgren will put him on 7. There's a battle at the back as well, with Bachelor really putting pressure on Chris Holder. Second place is Kauko Nieminen. Lindgren's gone on. Nieminen has packed up, or certainly lost control. He's not packed up, he's just lost control, and that has allowed through Holder and Bachelor.
Thrown it away in the last corner, was riding an absolute stormer there. Kauko Nieminen gives points. Yeah, it looked like he'd just run out of steam, but made the mistake, straightened up, and that allowed Holder through to a very useful second place for the Australian. He'll move on to 10 points now. Great ride from Freddie Lindgren, much more like it from him. Got himself in the right place at the right time in the first corner. Tough out there, really is difficult here this evening. Got to scrap for every point.
Lindgren, Holder, Bachelor, Nieminen. That's the finishing order, and with Chris Holder now on 10 points, he finds himself 3 points behind Krzysztof Kasperzak, the series leader.
Well, super ride from Freddie Lindgren, and he's giving himself a chance, isn't he now? Because, you know, with the ride to go, who having won that race, look at that, how tight that was. Certainly, Chris Holder has to shut the throttle there and loses all his momentum coming into the first corner. Did well, in actual fact, to avoid Kauko Nieminen. Kauko Nieminen made a really good start. They clash hard going to the first corner there, and Holder's the loser. Has to shut the throttle, and Bachelor also is out the back. Lindgren round the outside, makes the best of it and gets himself to the front. Freddie Lindgren now on 7 points. He's up and well and truly in the top 8 with just the ride to go, so he'll be really pleased with this. It's a good outcome for the Swede. Second place there, Kauko Nieminen rode, so really good race, and then suddenly on the last corner, he kind of just gives the 2 points away and allows the two Aussie boys through. 2-2, 0-3, 7 points to his name. He'll be feeling a lot better after slipping off the bike in his previous ride.
Yeah, very much so. Lindgren, we know what he's capable of course, and Jonas Kilmakorpi, well, he certainly enjoyed his race win, didn't he? Let's hear from him now with Jace.
Well, Jonas Kilmakorpi, you look like you enjoyed that race win in front of the Finnish fans.
Yeah, it was great. I made a great start, and you know, I think there haven't been any passing today, so I had a pretty smooth ride for 4 laps.
How's the Grand Prix been going for you? Because it seems everybody's form is up and down.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's like start first corner, and then kind of nothing happens after that. It's really difficult. You know, it's been a hot day, and the track is extremely slick.
There's been that rut into the first corner as well, which has been remedied. Did you manage to avoid all of that?
Yeah, I kind of hit it in the first bend, but not too bad. But yeah, I was watching some of the heats here, and boys are struggling with it. And
you're hoping now, I'm sure you can kick on. One race left. It's all to ride for, really.
Yeah, sure. I think if I win it, then I have still a chance for semi-finals.
Thank you, Jonas. Good luck.
Yeah, he comes out in heat 17, coming out of gate 2. He'll have to deal with Greg Hancock on the inside of him, and then Lindgren also. I tell you what, that's a tense race. That really is. Hancock, Kilmakorpi, Lindgren, all desperate for a big last ride to make the semi-finals nice. So that could be quite a action-packed first corner.
Yep, very much so. As we prepare for heat number 17, Nicky Pedersen, as usual, in the thick of the action tonight. Let's hear from him now with Jason.
Well, Nicky Pedersen, an up-and-down night for you so far.
Well, I think everybody out there, you know, they're having a tough time. It's a very, very difficult track out there. You know, it's very hard to pass and very narrow going into turns. Nice, you know, keep fighting. You know, it's still in the battle.
Have you changed a lot on the bikes tonight?
We changed every race. You know, you try this and this because I don't think anybody is comfortable on this sort of surface. You know, we see riders out there in front. You know, which normally wouldn't be in front. You know, so no, it's ups and downs. You know, everybody keep fighting, you know, and we need to make this start, you know, and very, very uneven out there, you know. So now concentrate and get focused, you know, and score the points.
How about the virus you've been suffering from all week? Have you managed to shake that off, or is it still affecting you?
No, it still affects me, you know, but it's not a complaint, you know, not at all. I feel all right when I'm riding, you know. I got a few tablets I take when I'm in there, you know, to freshen up the air a little bit. So no, nothing to worry about.
Okay, good luck, Nicky. Thank you. Cheers, pal.
Interesting last ride for Pedersen. He's got Holder, Hampel and Smolitsky to deal with. And And as he rightly said there, I think the way he summed it up was quite interesting. You know, unexpected results tonight. It's really tough, but he's got a good attitude. He's in there. He said, "But hey, I'm battling. I'm in it. I'm going to keep working hard." World Championship points on the line, Nigel.
Yep, very much so. And we're going to hear from our Danish TV colleagues now with Niels Christian Iversen.
Det her, det var jo ikke lige den aften, du havde regnet med, var det?
Nej, det tror jeg ikke.
Quite sure Niels far from happy with his performance tonight, but of course tricky track out there in terms of passing opportunities. He's just not made the starts tonight, Colin.
No, he hasn't found a good setup, and he
det er jo en sejr, altså, og det er det eneste, der tæller nu, altså. Hvis jeg ikke får en sejr, så kan jeg køre hjem i seng, så det er selvfølgelig det, jeg satser på.
Godt mærke på, at du selvfølgelig også er skuffet, men en dramatisk aften med mange omkørsler og huller, der skal graves til, og jeg ved ikke hvad. En del uro herude i pitten. Hvordan oplever du det?
Jamen, som du siger, ikke, der har været en del omstart. Jeg formoder endelig at lave en ordentlig start, ikke, så bliver det startet om, ikke, og
16 points, that opening round in Auckland where he managed just 6. And this is really in direct contrast with the form that Niels shows at league level, because he is one of the top performers in the world on the league stage.
Jeg tror, hvis du får frisk luft, hvis du er foran, så tror jeg, den er okay. Men når du er bagved, der er ikke nogen linje, du kan køre på. Der er stort set kun en linje ud, ikke? Og den er så smal, når du kører ind i hjørnet. Der er ikke plads til mere end en kører. Det er sådan lidt...
You know, everything suggested that he would be in top form here tonight.
Sidste chance, nu går du for.
It is a one-off. It's a little bit of a lottery here this evening with unusual conditions, so he has found it tough, really tough.
Well, we can hear from Niels Christian Iversen now in English with our man Jason Harold.
Niels, a mixed night for you so far, but you've put a couple of performances that might put you into the semis with a good last ride.
I got to win the last one, that's for sure, but it's not over yet, so we're going to keep battling.
It seems that everybody is going on a level playing field. The points are shared up and down the board, so it gives you some hope.
Yeah, it's tough conditions out there, really. You know, it's all about making starts, and you know, if you're behind, then you're sort of stuck behind riders, and there's only one racing line, really. It's too narrow into the corners. That's as simple as that.
You said before that your gating was letting you down in Bydgoszcz. Is that happening tonight?
Yeah, it's only rubbish skating for me, really. I managed to do a good one, and then there was a rerun, so yeah, got to work on it.
All right, Niels, thank you. Good luck.
So the last round of heats here to decide who qualifies for the semi-finals right now. We have a clutch of riders on 6 points. Six riders on 6 points.
Yeah, six riders on 6 points, so all to play for. And this race is a really interesting one with Hancock, Kilmacorpy, Lindgren and Jonsson. Jonsson's obviously done quite well this evening, he's on 6, but all 4 riders are absolutely desperate to make the semi-finals, and all of them have got an opportunity. If Hancock turns his fortunes around, that will be remarkable. He failed to score in his first 2 rides, and then has come up with a couple of race wins, and we've seen this from him before, haven't we? And well, you wouldn't put it past him. The wild card, Kilmacorpy, coming out of gate 2. He won his previous ride. He was looking really good, giving himself a chance of the semi-finals. So we're really getting to the business end of the heat, the racing now. The heat 17, certainly a tough one to call.
Here we go with heat number 17 then. Greg Hancock goes off the inside in red. The legendary Californian Jonas Kilmacorpy, who had that race win, goes off gate number 2 in blue. A win for him could get him into the semi-final. Freddie Lindgren, a fantastic win last time out. He's off gate 3 in white. And AJ Andreas Jonsson going off the outside, 6 points to his name.
Yeah, he's got 6 points. Disappointing previously, but he's got the outside gate, and he's won races tonight and looked good. Lindgren off gate 3. Kilmacorpy's well and truly ready on gate 2. He's hunched over the handlebars, desperately keen to get underway. Keep your eyes on Hancock. Hancock has ridden well in his last 2. And well, I'm sure he's keen to get to the front again.
Heat number 17, it is Lindgren's made a good one off gate number 3. That is a beautiful start. Freddie Lindgren then goes square, That's going to allow Hancock through, is it? No, Lindgren's gone wide, and Hancock's closed the door. What a race this is now. Hancock's gone square. Lindgren's almost on the air fence here. This is a decent race developing, and Jonsson's in the mix as well. With the man in blue, Kilmacorpy at the back. Drama here as Lindgren goes square again there.
He does, he hits the run in the first corner. How on earth he stayed on the motorbike. Neck and neck down the back straight on the opening lap, with the veteran American Hancock just about managing to hang on to the lead, and now it's stretched away. Andreas Jonsson pushing hard in third place. That won't be enough. He needs more than that to try and make the semi-finals. Disappointment for Kilmacorpy out the back, but this is a remarkable turnaround for Hancock. Failing to score with his first two rides, looking like he's going to win 3 on the bounce.
Yep, 2 last places, followed by what looks like now a hat-trick of wins for Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Down that back straight into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Heat number 17. Hancock into the semis. Freddie Lindgren on 9 as well. That's been a great night's work for Lindgren. Andreas Jonsson was third, and Jonas Kilmacorpy at the back. But fantastic stuff from Greg Hancock. What a way to bounce back after 2 last places.
Yeah.
And Lindgren has worked his socks off to get into the semi-finals as well.
He walked a tightrope there. Momentarily, I thought he was off the bike when he hit the rut there in the first corner. He did really well just to hang on to the bike. Greg Hancock, they're just sort of gesturing to him how hard that was on the opening lap when they roared down the back straight. Fantastic stuff from the American. He's really dug deep there and shown terrific character.
Hancock, Lindgren, Jonsson, Kilmacorpy. That's the finishing order there. And as you said, though, there for Kelvin for Jonsson, 7 points. May not be enough. He's going to have a nervous rate in the last 3 heats. He's going to have a nervous wait now.
He's got a race win. That may just help him out. So, you know, Darcy Ward under pressure without a race win. He'll need to get in there amongst it, but certainly Jonsson will have to be patient. This man won't need to be. He can relax a wee bit just momentarily before the semi-finals. They'll be delighted. How good is he when he can? They really did look out of sorts. Obviously, he had the misfortune in his first ride to run out of steam and the bike backed up. First turn, down the back straight, gets the extra drive off the corner. Lindgren there right alongside him. Very tight going into turn 3 on the opening lap. Jonsson then running wide. Lindgren on the back wheel out of shape, squares the corner off and very nearly gets away from him. Hancock out in front, riding brilliantly, moving on to 9 points. Andreas Jonsson, disappointing end. Look at that from Lindgren, very nearly getting himself in all sorts of trouble and falling off the bike for the second time, but he hangs on. Sheer determination there just to really stay on board the motorbike, and he gets to the end of the race picking up very useful points indeed.
Drama all the way in heat number 17 there then. More down to the track than anything else really. But
yeah, track induced.
Yeah, 9 points apiece. Hancock and Lindgren, they're happy. They're into the semi-finals now. Holder, the leader of the GP, on 10. Now you have Hancock, Zagar, Lindgren all on 9 points apiece. Now, here we have Jarek Campbell in blue, the world number 2 on 6 points. Can he nick a place in the semi-finals? This is a big race.
Yeah.
Hampel on 6, Pedersen on 7, Smolinski on 6, all in contention. We know that Holder is already in the semi-finals, but the other 3 need points. Holder off the inside in red. Jarek Campbell goes off gate 2 in blue, 6 points.
Yeah.
Needs a win. Nicky Pedersen gate 3 in white. Martin Smolinski outside in yellow. Well, this is a pressure race, Kelvin.
Big time. I think 17 was, and 18 is exactly the same. Really pressure on. Holder on the inside wants a big start. He didn't make the start last time. Had a battle with Niemanen going in the first corner. Pedersen's still in there. We heard him speaking earlier. He's battling hard.
This is a massive race, and Pedersen's made a beauty off gate number 3. What a start from Nicky Pedersen. Here comes Holder up the inside, but Pedersen around the outside has got the lead, and here comes Smolinski. Martin Smolinski on the inside takes the better of Chris Holder, and Jarek Hampel is at the back, and that is disaster for Hampel. But Pedersen is the leader, Smolinski is second, Chris Holder is third as Hampel comes up the inside now and gets the better of the 2012 world champion.
Yeah, hard work there from Hampel. Certainly Holder's been relegated back to the back with Nicky Pedersen coming out of gate 3. Superstar from him, the German Smolinski's doing a good job here in second place. That could well be enough for him. It will move him on to 8 points. It's going to get awfully tight for the semi-finals here this evening with everybody dropping points. Pedersen out in front, battling hard, World Championship points on the line, desperately wants to get to the semi-finals, looking like he's going to do so. Bitter disappointment for Holder, but he's already on 10 points.
This will propel Nicky Pedersen onto 10 points, and he will finish level on 10 with Chris Holder at the top of the standings after 7 to 18 heats here. That was a fantastic start from Nicky Pedersen, and Martin Smolinski has done a smashing job there, because that puts him onto 8 points, and in with a great shout at a semi-final place here now for Martin Smolinski. Rockets him up into 8 points now. He's in the top 8. He's above Jonsson and Hampel, who have both finished their rides. So Smolinski definitely finishes above those, and that was a great ride from Nicky Pedersen to win that race from gate number 3. 3 points for him. Martin Smolinski second, Jarek Hampel was third, and Chris Holder at the back.
Well, it's getting exciting, because although the racetrack is not the best, it's certainly getting very important to pick up points and pressure on riders coming to their 5th ride on the night. Holder leads the way on 10 after 5 rides. Pedersen alongside him. Hancock remarkably moves on to 9. Great effort from him. Zagar's on 9, but he's got a ride left. Pedersen, you know, he's going to fight and scrap right to the bitter end. And this just shows how strong his resolve is. Super reaction out of gate 3, and is clear going into the first corner. Round the inside is Holder. Holder momentarily in front, but somehow manages to respond there, Pedersen. This is a good move from the German, Smolinski. He really does ride well here to get the better of Holder early on. Comes up the inside into turn 3 and gets himself comfortably into 2nd place. But Pedersen rides a stormer here. This is a really good effort. 10 points to his name. Solid ride. Delighted to have pulled off a big win at this stage of the night.
It does mean the opportunity is there for Troy Batchelor and Darcy Ward to reach the semi-finals if they can score in their last ride. Jonsson and Hampel are on 7 points, and they finished their outings. Smolinski is on 8.
Yep.
He really has worked hard. Well, they've all worked hard. Every single rider has really worked hard out their time.
Now, that's absolutely dead right, Nige. Nobody's been feeling comfortable on this track tonight. It really is a test. And it's been changing conditions. It's been slick at the beginning, difficult to pass, but it's a World Championship meeting. Every point here is the same as anywhere else. Like 3 weeks ago in Bydgoszcz, a better racetrack, but you get the same number of points.
So we come back here. What changes would you make to the track? The shape of it?
It's got to be wider on the going into the corners, that's for sure, and I'd try and make it a little bit shorter.
Yep. So, heat number 19. And, it's the penultimate race of the qualifying heats. And I do recall a track that I went to during my childhood, fond memories, was the old Boulevard Stadium at Hull, where Ivan Major raced, Barry Briggs, Egon Muller. Fantastic times at the Boulevard, but that was a very narrow track around the rugby league pitch, the Hull FC rugby league pitch, and that was extremely narrow, to the extent that there were talks at Hull at the time that it might have been not quite wide enough for the regulations, but good old Ian Thomas was the promoter there, and great memories from the Boulevard at Hull. As we build up to heat number 19, Chris Harris goes off the inside in red, Darcy Ward goes off gate 2 in blue, Ty Woffenden gate 3 in white, Kauko Nieminen off the outside in yellow. 2 British boys here, Harris and Woffenden in heat number 19. Ward off gate 2 needs points.
Yeah.
And Nieminen, I'm sure, has enjoyed the experience of riding here when he thought he was just going to be a reserve, watching from the pits.
Yeah, he's done okay. He was unfortunate last time. He sort of just made that mistake late in the race. Woffenden, though, if he can win this, he'll top the charts before the semi-finals. That'll be a great effort.
Here we go, heat number 19, and that's a good start from Harris off the inside. Woffenden off gate number 3 has got the drop, and here comes Ward up the inside of Chris Harris. Ward goes square. Here comes Nieminen down the back straight. Can he get the better of Ward? Ward keeps it wound on. Oh goodness, you do have to close your eyes sometimes and think that they're all going to go down. But the lead is with Ty Woffenden, Darcy Ward second, third is Nieminen, Harris at the back.
Yeah, fantastic first corner for Ward, and it was really close down the back straight between Kauko Nieminen and the Australian, and somehow Ward managed to battle his way into second place. Superb stuff from the world champion once again, dominating proceedings. Textbook start, out in front, looking good. Ward is charging hard in second place. Now Harris round the inside. Oh, it's tight once again coming off turn 2 between Capco Nieminen and Harris. Harris switching to the outside, desperately trying to get the better of him. Can he get there? No, he can't. There's no room at all. The door is slammed, well and truly shut. Now to the inside. Can he get there? No! So much action at the back. But this race is Woofenden's.
Woofenden is going to take the victory here. Harris absolutely trying everything to get the better of Niemann, and down to the line. It's to no avail for Chris Harris, though, finishes last there in heat number 19. But my goodness me, Harris worked overtime, just not quite enough there. And the win is Woofenden's. The reigning world champion, 11 points for him.
Yeah.
And, well, normal service resumed. He leads the GP now on 11 as well. And there is only Mate Zegar who can catch him to lead the standings and have first pick of gate positions in the semi-finals.
Yeah, great effort once again from Ty Woofenden. He's beginning to really make his presence felt once again in the World Championship. Coming in tonight, he had 2 disappointing Grand Prix. He was certainly languishing down with only 12 points from the first 2 rounds. He's very nearly equalled that as he goes into the semi-finals.
Yep, Darcy Ward second to Woofenden there, and third was Kauko Nieminen. Ward moves into the top 8 now, on 8 points from 5 rides, with Martin Smolinski on 8 as well. And there is only Troy Batchelor who can catch him with a win. Certainly finished level with second place there, so that's the way it is at the moment.
Yeah, well, Batchelor would knock him out, Nigel, because
with
he's got a race win.
And
he's got a race win.
Absolutely.
So that is danger for Ward, who's ridden so hard, but has not managed to get to the front. His starting has been poor tonight. We're looking at Woofenden, whose starting has been terrific. He's had to work hard for it as well, because when he had to do the rerun, he had the character then to come back and show the composure to go out and win it again. Great action down the back straight. You know, once again, Ward certainly very eye-catching, and you can't doubt the effort from the Australian. Good effort from Harris, but fails to score a point. There's just no racing room at all, and Nieminen, who wasn't that quick, was able to just keep the Brit at the back as hard as Harris tried to grab that point off of him. Woofenden out in front, he grabs another 3 points, 11 points to his name. Just missed the start last time out, otherwise it probably would have been a few more.
Yep, Woofenden 11, Ward on 8. Ward quite clearly not happy tonight, for sure. And it really has been a tough night for every single rider out there tonight. All 16 of them have really had to dig deep and work hard. And heat number 20 is coming on here now, as we build up to Matti Zegar off the inside, with Kenneth Pierre going off gate number 2. Everson is there as well, who now knows he cannot make the semi-finals. And Batchelor, with second place here, move on to 8 points and would knock Darcy Ward out of the semi-finals, because Batchelor has a win under his belt. Zegar off the inside, Pierre off 2, Everson off 3, and Batchelor going off the outside in yellow.
Well, yeah, the 2 Australians here. Darcy Ward obviously in 8th place as we speak, but Troy Batchelor could, as you very rightly say, Nigel, knock him out with a solid ride here. First or second, we'll see him do that. It won't be easy, of course, because Zegar's going well. And Everson, even though he's had a dreadful night by his own high standards, he will be desperate to try and finish with a win, because, as we keep reiterating, World Championship points, they all count.
Here we go, heat number 20. Pierre's made a beauty from gate number 2, and now Batchelor off the outside in yellow has hit the front. Super ride from Troy Batchelor. That'll be enough for him. Zegar! One wheel down the back straight. How many times have we seen that tonight? He manages to get the bike back under control. The lead is with Batchelor. Niels Christian Everson second, Zegar third, and Kenneth Pierre at the back. But how on earth did Matti Zegar get the bike back under control?
Well, a touch of good fortune about it, Nigel, I would suggest, because certainly it lifted violently as he came out of that second corner. Fabulous ride once again from Troy Batchelor. This will be his second race win of the night, and that'll put paid to any chances of Darcy Ward appearing in the semi-finals. And that'll be bitter disappointment for him. He hasn't enjoyed tonight, and he will miss out as long as Batchelor can complete the 4 laps. Everson in second place has not been at his best tonight, has struggled so far, and he's only going to pick up, well, he's not going to pick up 6 points if he gets passed by Zegar. Battling down the back straight, very tight between the 2 boys, but Batchelor, the race is his.
Yep, Batchelor on his way to the checkered flag. Everson second, Zegar was third. and Kenneth Pierre just strolls round, clearly in discomfort, of course. It's been a brave effort by Kenneth Pierre, but Troy Batchelor, what a moment for him in his first full season of Grand Prix Speedway. The man who rides for the Swindon Robins in the British Elite League has just pulled off a fantastic win after starting with 2 4-point scores in Auckland and Bydgoszcz. Batchelor is through to the semis here in Finland.
Yeah, great stuff from Troy Batchelor. It's certainly desperately wanted to be part of the Grand Prix circus, and here this evening he'll really feel that he's part of it now because he's ridden well. 2 race wins, looking good. Well, Troy Batchelor won his first ride tonight, and he finishes his last programmed ride in exactly the same fashion. That was a super effort from him, and he'll be chuffed to bits about that. And he's through to the semi-finals. We're looking at him again. He's coming from the outside. He sweeps across in front of the other 3 riders. Niels Christian Iversen made a dreadful start from gate 3. There's Zager. Zager, how on earth he stays on there? He does remarkably well to hang on to the bike. He can't quite believe it. Iversen then, look at this, battling hard, really having to hang on. Iversen really hasn't got the bike quite working as he would have liked because he hasn't had the speed that he's had in recent days. Batchelor has though, and he moves nicely into the semi-finals, and he's chuffed a bit.
And 5 of the 7 riders behind Krzysztof Kasperzak have qualified for the semi-finals.
Yeah, so pressure on, the chase for the world title, the World Championship lead is well and truly on. 9 points for Batchelor. He'll be really pleased, but more work to be done. Bitterly disappointed, I would suggest, for Iversen. There you can see it, frustration, and he would have been hoping for an awful lot more. And I certainly expected a lot more from him. I fancied that he would win here this evening.
So, the semi-final draw to come, and well, it's been interesting. It's not been spectacular, but here is the World Championship standings now. Look how close that is. And we remind you that Pedersen, Holder and Hancock are all in the semi-finals.
They are indeed, and Hancock.
So is Smolinski.
Smolinski's right there. Hampol, obviously, he misses out slowly. Darcy Ward does. Lindgren is in.
Yep.
So he'll have an opportunity to make his way up the charts. Woofenden's the one that's going to suddenly appear in there, I suggest, any minute now. He's finished on 11 points so far. Could easily have actually been a few more if he hadn't have made a poor start in his 4th outing. But yeah, it's going to get really tight at the top of the table. And when we move on to Prague in a couple of weeks' time, I think it's going to be game on.
Wide open.
Wide open, dead right, dead right.
Very much so. So confirmation then that Ty Woofenden tops the standings here. And he would have taken that because it's fair to say, Kelf, that after Bydgoszcz, Woofenden was pretty down.
Down to the dumps, wasn't he? He was really didn't know which way to turn, wasn't happy with his kit, wasn't riding well, didn't seem to be as focused as he was last year. The penny's dropped. He's now looking like he's back to his best. And he's performing at a very high level once again, and he's got that sort of steely determination about it. We had a bit of a laugh and a joke with him earlier on today, and he said that, why have you picked Iversen to win tonight? You know, I'm here. I said, well, so far it hasn't been going so well for you, Ty, but I'll tell you what, this evening he's been top draw. 10 race wins from the outside, that's where you want to be. Certainly the other 3 gates haven't performed quite as well. Gate 2 has been an absolute graveyard, so it'll be interesting to see where they go for the semi-finals. No, been a tough night, isn't it? Really difficult. Racing hasn't been spectacular, as you said. So we'll be keeping our fingers crossed that we can have a bit of a grandstand finish.
Well, anything can happen in the semi-finals, we know that. And we know that when we go to Prague in a couple of weeks' time, it's going to be very, very tight at the top of the standings. We know that. So we're just awaiting now the pick for gate positions for the semi-finals now, as we await the picks down in the pits. So here we go, Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, Nicky Pedersen. Be interesting to see what gate goes for gate 2. Now that is a surprise. When you looked at the gate standings there, gate 2 had only won 1 race, gate 4 had won 10. I suggest that Troy Batchelor is delighted to get gate 4. Yeah, he won his last ride from there. Gate 1 for Freddie Lindgren, no surprise. That's had 3 wins from the inside. And gate 3, in actual fact, has had some. So we've got Ty Woofenden. We missed him, of course. He's going off gate 3. Batchelor off the outside. Lindgren on the inside, and Pedersen out of gate 2. Surprise pick from Pedersen, Nige.
Yep. Well, Chris Holder has first pick for the second semi-final here.
Yeah, ridden well. He struggled in his last ride when he got relegated to the back. Gate 4, no surprise. Yes, that's more logical. He obviously feels comfortable and he can get to the outside. Zagard's ridden well, and gate 3, he fancies that. And he's going to give it his best coming from out there. Martin Smolinski, of course, just waiting patiently. He'll have to go with gate 2 because Greg Hancock, who remarkably has turned his fortunes around in spectacular fashion tonight, goes off the inside. And gate 2 for Martin Smolinski, another, well, his third consecutive semi-final, which is fantastic.
Yeah, very much so. It really is good to see.
So Hancock, Smolinski, Zagar, Holder. Good lineup.
Yep, terrific semi-final lineup here in Tampere. As I was going to say that darkness descends, but it's, what is it here? It's 10 to 10 at night.
Doesn't get dark,
the sun's still shining. Remarkable.
It is, yeah. Beautiful clear blue sky. It will get a bit chilly a bit later on, that's for certain, but it's been a glorious day. World show with the standings here this evening, yeah. Woofenden on 11, that's a great effort. Pedersen on 10, Holder on 10. Just slipped a bit at the end, Holder, just struggling in his last ride. Zagar has battled hard. As I've said, Hancock on 9, Batchelor on 9. They've ridden very well for those points.
They have indeed. So 5 of the 7 riders that were behind Kasperzak in the standings before tonight are all through to the semi-finals. So points to be gained, and it does appear as though we will have a new World Championship leader going into Prague in a couple of weeks' time.
It was on the cards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Kasperzak withdrawing yesterday, you know, effectively he was going to be, although he had an 11-point lead, he's not going to be down and out. 11-point lead after 2 rounds is substantial. So, yeah, it's must be hard work for him to watch this. But as we said earlier on, it's an opportunity for all those riders that were sort of ready to pounce behind him. And certainly riders like Nicky Pedersen and Holder and Woofenden. Well, Woofenden's the one that's going to move up the table big time here. If he can keep it pushing on, if he can pick up another, let's say another 4 points, for example, that would be a terrific effort for the world champion.
So, first semi-final coming up here. There is Woofenden, number 1 on his back, and he is the man everybody wants to beat as the reigning world champion here. We have Nicky Pedersen, a former world champion, of course. Troy Batchelor in his first semi-final. That's good to see for Batchelor.
Yeah, terrific effort from him. He'll be boosted by that. Found it tough initially, but tonight has raised his game and has got himself into the first semi-final. Woofenden, who had the first pick here, has gone for gate 3 and feels comfortable that he can win the race from there. He's been making good starts all night. Nicky Pedersen could be dangerous coming out of gate 2, and that was a strange one for me because gate 4 was available for him and he avoided that. He ignored that and went for gate 2. So be interesting to see what he does.
Certainly will. First semi-final coming up here then in Tampere. About to get underway. Here we go with the first semi-final then. Freddie Lindgren goes off the inside in red, has worked really hard tonight. Well, every rider, all 16 have worked hard. Nicky Pedersen goes off the inside, off gate number 2 in blue with 10 points to his name. Ty Woofenden, the reigning champion, gate 3 in white. Normal service resumed for him. 11 points to his name. How he would love to extend his evening with a place in the final. And Troy Batchelor going off the outside in yellow. His first semi-final. Good to see from the Swindon man, who is in his first year in Grand Prix Speedway. This, the first semi-final. What a lineup.
Yeah, it is, and all these riders have ridden well. You know, they've got plenty of points to their names. Great opportunity for Batchelor here. He's coming out of the best gate on the standings tonight.
Here we go then, first semi-final, and Woofington has made a beauty off gate number 3. He's got his gating gloves on tonight as Lindgren goes square in that first turn, hits a run. Pedersen now trying to come through, but Freddie Lindgren holds second place and blocks the challenge of Nicky Pedersen. Oh, Pedersen is almost off the bike there, almost jars his leg really, but Woofington has the lead. Lindgren second, Pedersen third, Batchelor at the back, but that looks uncomfortable for Nicky Kelvin.
Yeah, it is again now. He's run very wide in the first and second corner, second time of asking, and he's gone to the back. Ty Woofington is comfortable out in front. Looking silky smooth, absolutely fabulous performance from him. Freddie Lindgren looking like he's going to sneak into the final here. He's ridden well here this evening and has battled really hard, and second place will do very nicely for him. But Ty Woofington, the world champion, riding like a world champion.
3 weeks ago, Ty Woofington was pretty down about things. He was questioning everything about setup and about his whole setup 3 weeks ago. But here he is on the verge of a place in his first final in the defence of his world title. He's world number 1 and he's through to the grand final of the Finnish Grand Prix. It's Great Britain's Ty Woofington with the victory. Freddie Lindgren is second, and those two boys go through to the final here in Tampere. Troy Batchelor finishes third there. Nicky Pedersen, who looked, I thought, as though he might have jarred his knee as he went into the turn.
Yeah, he
turn
looked,
3 at high speed.
Yeah, his leg got sort of snatched back, didn't it? And he looked really uncomfortable on the bike as he came in there, and he'll be pretty uncomfortable in his mind right now. He'll be furious about the fact that he's missed out on the opportunity to make the final, but the world champion didn't. He sealed it in fine style.
He's on 26 Grand Prix points now, Woofington, 9 behind Kasperzak. So it's quite a night's work for the champion.
Turnaround.
Yep, Woofington on 14 points now. Lindgren, great night's work from him on 11. And Troy Batchelor can take consolation from a semi-final appearance here in Finland tonight. And Nicky Pedersen, as we say, at the back there. First semi-final, Woofington with a beauty off gate 3.
Yeah, he had the first pick. He went for gate 3 and it worked really well. Pedersen took gate 2 and that hasn't been working, and it didn't work out for him. Certainly Freddie Lindgren there got the best of it down the back straight early on by coming from the inside gate. I fancied that Batchelor would have had a chance here coming from the outside, but it just didn't work out for him. He got third place eventually, but obviously he misses out on the big final. He would have been desperate to have made it. Pedersen, of course, struggling out the back, he'd be disappointed, but look how much that meant to Woofington. He's back, he means business, and who knows, he could very easily win his second Grand Prix here tonight.
Nicky Pedersen is still a point behind Christoph Kasperzak in the World Championship standings. Freddie Lindgren 11 points, great effort from the Swede, but Nicky Pedersen there, by finishing last and not making the final, will go to Prague a point behind Christoph Kasperzak, when he could so easily have been leading the World Championship going to Prague. But there's a long way to go.
There is a long way to go, but still points are vital, and he will see this as a missed opportunity, I'm sure. He knows what it's all about, and the opportunity to lead the World Championship going into Prague 2 weeks' time. He'll be kicking himself a wee bit.
Here we go with the second semi-final then. It's Greg Hancock off the inside in red after starting with a couple of last places, has turned his night around magnificently. Martin Smolinski, the German, going off gate number 2 in blue. What a fairy tale start to life in the GP. It's been for Smolly. Matti Zagar, gate 3 in white, the super Slovenian, and Chris Holder going off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, great lineup once again. Yeah, Holder, who has just faded a wee bit in his last couple of rides, will be needing to make the start and try and settle down again. Hancock, who's been remarkable, and looking like you're all out of sorts. 2 awful rides, a mechanical problem, and then the second ride again just didn't have any speed. Bang, 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 hat-trick of wins. He's now into the semi-finals. And the German, well, he's been super too.
He will join Woofington and Lindgren in the final here in Tampere. What a start from Greg Hancock off the inside gate, and Smolinski's trying the inside line here in blue. Oh, and Hancock gets some drive, and Zagar comes through. Matti Zagar picks up the drive and blasts his way past Martin Smolinski, who's coming back for more, and Chris Holder is going to miss out. He's at the back here. What a ride from Greg Hancock, and the track once again playing its part here, Kelf.
Yeah, really difficult coming out of turn 2. Holder's pulled up at the back. He really isn't enjoying it at all. Certainly Hancock is. He was away from the inside. Zagar and Hancock almost at the same time lifted violently on the early part of the race. Hancock out in front. Zagar pushing hard in second place, and the German Smolinski out of gate 2. That was tough for him. He's riding hard in third place. But with just over a lap to go, the American looking like he's going to win his 4th consecutive race.
This will put Hancock 1 point off the series lead. Holder is not going to catch Kasperzak tonight. He's out with a last place in the semi-final here. But Greg Hancock, you have to take your hat off to the American legend. It's a magnificent achievement for Hancock to get through to the final here in Finland tonight. And he's joined by Matti Zegar.
Fabulous ride there from the 2-time world champion from America. Showed tremendous composure, really has dedicated himself to the second half of this meeting. He's under 12 points now. Failed to score in his first 2, that's an excellent effort. More like it from Zegar. First 2 grounds this year, hasn't been at the best, hasn't produced his best rather, and now all of a sudden he's into the final looking really good and fast. Disappointment for Smolinski, he misses out on the final, but still, 3 semi-finals, he'll be pretty pleased.
And still, Kasperzak leads the World Championship with the final to come. It's not been too bad for him.
No, it's been quite incredible that the fact that he hasn't been overhauled. It just says that, you know, that 11-point lead for Kasperzak was considerable after 2 rounds. Second semi-final, Hancock on the inside, superstar from him, gets to the first corner. Zegar very, very wide indeed. Smolinski hugging the inside, both of the riders. Then lift coming out of the corner, and Zegar just had the extra speed because he'd run wide. We'll see it again. Right round the inside, the 2 boys on the inside, red and blue respectively, lift now, and then as Smolinski lifts, it just puts him off balance and he loses his momentum, and that allows Zegar up the inside into second place, and the Slovenian makes his first final of the year. Smolinski, of course, he won't be too despondent because he's still picked up some useful points, but look at that score chart. That is a fabulous looking score chart, and he certainly has a knack of finding the key to new tracks. You wouldn't put it past him winning here tonight.
Yep, Matti Zegar as well, who's had an ordinary start to the GP campaign with 2 6-point scores. But here tonight now, he's on 12.
Wow.
And much more like it.
Good effort, really good effort from Zegar, and he hasn't won a Grand Prix. Could it be his turn tonight? Tell you what, if you make the start here, it's going to be awfully difficult for somebody to find their way through. We haven't seen a lot of overtaking, so depending on what gate he gets, it will be interesting to see if he manages to do that.
If Woffenden wins the final, he will be 9 points off the World Championship leader Christoph Kasperzak. Woffenden's on 26, he will move on to 29. If Hancock here, if Greg Hancock finishes on in second place, or indeed wins it, he will be the series leader, third, and he will be level. So, of those riders, only Hancock appears in the final. Kasperzak out of the meeting, Pedersen and Holder have failed to get into the final. Freddie Lindgren back on 29 points in 8th place, and just behind there, Woffenden is now on 26.
Well, he's lurking, he's going to make his way. There's a good chance he'll be into the top 8 here this evening at the end of tonight's meeting. Great opportunity for Greg Hancock when you consider how he must have been feeling after 2 rides with no points to his name. He could well end up leading the World Championship as he drives out of Tampere tonight. Unbelievable. The gate wins. Really has been quite incredible there. Once again, the outside gate working well. The stats coming better for gate 3, with Woffenden winning races out of there. Gate 2, strange decision. I say again, Nicky Pedersen chose gate 2 when gate 4 was available. Strange one for me. And the inside gate, where Hancock just won the second semi-final, has been boosted by that result. So, yeah, very interesting. Not the greatest of nights, far from it, but it's coming to the conclusion, and with the World Championship on the line, World Championship points at stake, there's a certain amount of excitement now.
Yep, absolutely.
Here we go, Woffenden the champ coming up first. I suggest he won the gate 3.
Yeah, he's plugging his charity, Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, of course. He's got a big bike ride coming up, and he goes for gate 3 in the final.
No surprise with that. Hancock's going to go for the inside. He was comfortably winning there in his semi-final. Zegar, well, now, gate 4. He's got to go gate 4, surely. Yeah, gate 4. That's not bad. That's not bad at all for him.
And Lindgren is left with gate number 2. Lindgren with 1 Grand Prix win to his name.
And as you said earlier on, that was in Ullevi, which is a very similar type of track to this. I think this one is a fraction bigger and maybe a touch narrower. But there's the lineup. Hancock on the inside, Lindgren in gate 2, Woofenden back to his best coming out of gate 3, and Matti Zagard coming from the outside. Could it be his turn to win his first Grand Prix here this evening? Perfectly possible, but Woofenden, I would suggest, comes in as favourite for the final.
We remind you that if Hancock finishes second or first here in the final, he will lead the World Championship going to Prague in 2 weeks' time. And a win would put him, 2 points ahead of Christoph Kasperzak, if Kasperzak is back for Prague indeed, because he has said, maybe I'm back for Prague.
No guarantee, because it's an injury that isn't going to heal by itself. It's going to be one of those that's going to have to be managed, a bit like Darcy Ward. Muscle, it's going to have to be built up around the knee to give it any sort of stability at all, and then have some sort of surgery at the end of the year. Far from ideal, far from ideal. Kasperzak will be desperately trying to do anything he can to be fit enough to ride in Prague after such a strong start to this year.
Yeah, we wish him well, of course. Christoph Kasperzak, it is harsh when you see your World Championship chances affected by injury, but that is part and parcel of Speedway, and Woofenden went on, won it after 2 broken collarbones last year. It does happen.
And there were lots of injuries, weren't they? Saifulinov got hurt, and Ward got hurt, Holder got hurt, but it is unfortunately part and parcel of the game. Woofenden up early, ready to go.
He's up for it, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and he's favourite here for me. And he won 1 Grand Prix last year. I know that he would have liked to have won more Grand Prix. At the end, all of a sudden, in the last couple of weeks, it seems that whatever was missing is now back. Definitely, part of it is in your head. There's no doubt about that. But the bike needs to give you that confidence, and when it happens, we know how good he is.
Well, still daylight here. Absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, we're a long way north, aren't we?
5 past 10 at night. We're still
next
in daylight.
month it won't get dark at all. So it will be, obviously it's quite dark in the winter though.
Yeah.
No, it's quite an extraordinary part of the world. Talking about extraordinary, Greg Hancock.
Oh, brilliant.
Never missed a Grand Prix. Zagard's waiting for a motorbike.
Yeah, it would be handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it normally helps. It's hard way. It's a long way to run.
Take a boat if he wants.
Yeah. Not sure he'll win the race, but might be very pleasant for him. But no.
Well, he needs a bike or he'll miss the boat. Sorry, it's been a long night, Kel. I'm trying my best.
It has been a long night. Here we go. Here comes the big final.
Here we go. What a remarkable night it's been for Greg Hancock. Freddie Lindgren has worked really solidly tonight. Hancock and Woofenden pulling wheelies down the back straight for the crowd. You've got a grand final to contest yet, boys. Have a word with yourselves.
Steady on. Steady on. Everybody thought they'd won it already. Yeah, it just shows you how relaxed they are, and I think that's why Greg Hancock could keep riding in his mid-40s.
44 years of age, pulling wheelies with a 23-year-old.
Yeah, and never missed a Grand Prix.
Yeah,
it is a fabulous achievement. Zagard takes the short way. He's coming up to gate 4. Tough one to call. I fancy Woofenden, but I tend to be a bit of a curse when I pick somebody out, but he has looked a class apart so far tonight.
To be fair tonight, Kelvin, you know, it's a classic case where you could not confidently predict a winner. Everything's just gone out of the window tonight.
It has. You know, when you consider the form that Woofenden was in Bydgoszcz, you couldn't have picked him for a winner here this evening, but by golly, he really has turned his fortunes around. Can he win tonight?
Here we go with the grand final then here in Tampere. It's the Mitas Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix, and what a lineup it is. Greg Hancock, second or better. He leads the World Championship going to Prague in the next round. Freddie Lindgren goes off gate number 2 in the blue helmet colour. Only 1 Grand Prix win in his career. Great night for him. Ty Woofenden gate 3 in white, the reigning world champion. And Matti Zagard going off the outside in yellow from Slovenia.
Yeah, great lineup. Really deserved to be here. A big pat on the back to all 4 riders in the final tonight. It's not been an easy evening, and track conditions have been a real challenge for all concerned, and they've done remarkably well. Hancock in particular, the way he's transformed his night after a desperate start, could be dangerous on the inside. Woofenden coming out of gate 3, he's comfortable there. Can Zagard win his first Grand Prix? It's long overdue. He's a class act, and you just sense that if he wins a Grand Prix, he may well go on and win several. So go any way here, it's wide open.
Here we go for the grand final here in Tampere, and Hancock spun up at the start. Woofenden has got a beauty off gate number 3. Here comes Zagar around the outside. Now Lindgren's going to try the inside. Zagar's got speed, but Woofenden has the lead. Ty Woofenden then with the lead here, the reigning champion. He's going to come under pressure. Lindgren really working Zagar hard, and Hancock is at the back. But Ty Woofenden is the leader of the final, and here comes Zagar!
Zagar looking really fast in second place. It was touch and go through the first corner on the opening lap. Woofenden just getting out of shape a little bit, and Zagar was there ready to pounce. Hancock's out the back, as in Big Gosh, just missing out in the big final. Doesn't look like he's going to get on the rostrum here this evening, but Woofenden out in front. Zagar looks fast, really fast. Blasting around the outside, the champion's out of shape. Zagar hits the front. Brilliant ride from the Slovenian.
Well, we said all last season that Zagar has got what it takes to win a Grand Prix, and Zagar has taken full advantage, and here he comes into turn 3 and 4. It's a special moment in the career of the man from Slovenia who rides for the Bellevue Aces. Matti Zagar takes a victory here in Finland, gets the better of the reigning champion Ty Woofenden. Lindgren was third, Hancock at the back, but that is a precious moment for Matti Zagar.
Too right, Nigel. I tell you what, I thought that Woofenden had that in the bag, and then suddenly out of nowhere, Woofenden got all out of shape through turns 3 and 4, halfway through the race. Zagar was looking really strong. Zagar had all the speed. He was in the right place at the right time. Absolutely overjoyed. It's been a difficult night, but he's won his first Grand Prix in pretty spectacular style, coming from behind. How on earth Woofenden stayed onto the motorbike there when he was through the first, third and fourth corner was remarkable, but Zagar, the winner tonight.
And Hancock's last place there means that Krzysztof Kasperzak, who hasn't ridden tonight, still leads the World Championship. Remarkable scenes here.
Yeah, absolutely. He wouldn't have expected that. I'm sure he would have been watching this meeting feeling that his World Championship lead was going to slip away.
Zagar the winner, many congratulations to him. Ty Woofenden is back with second place here. Looks like he was going to win it. And third was Freddie Lindgren. Terrific result for the Swede as well. These are the points scored on the night. Woofenden, 16 points, top scorer, but Matti Zagar wins the Grand Prix final, 15 points to his name. Hancock and Lindgren finishing on 12 points apiece, and the World Championship race is wide open.
Absolutely, Nigel. It's been a tough night. It's been at times a drawn-out night, but as it's come to its conclusion in the big final, Matti Zagar, it's quite a story for him. He's been around for some time. He's now in his 30s, and he would suggest that he will kick on from this. He's been a class act for some time, and on his return to the series, he's ridden well. He had 2 second places last year, just missing out a couple of times, but here he's sealed the deal, and he'll be really, really pleased. Here we see it again. Woofenden, excellent out of gate 3. He's a little bit out of shape in the first corner here, and I just thought for a moment that Zagar might get through the middle of them just a little bit, anxious on the bike there, probably desperate to try and pull away. Zagar was ever so fast just there. How on earth did Woofenden hang on to the bike, just overlocking, then it rears up underneath him. He did well to just hang on. Zagar then was in the right place. He was putting pressure on the world champion, and he literally pounces and he gets himself to the front and secures his first win. That is some achievement, and I'll tell you what, it's a difficult night, but they won't care about that now. They'll be overjoyed. It's a whole hatful of points, but more importantly, he's won his first Grand Prix. And deservedly, the mechanics and the support team are overjoyed. Woofenden, of course, 16 points. Good haul for him.
And we can hear from him now with Jason Harold.
Well, Matti Zagar, congratulations, your debut Grand Prix win. How does it feel?
Brilliant, mate.
Did you think at any point there you'd get past Ty?
I had a good speed, but Ty made a mistake. Not like usual, I was making mistakes in the final, but now I took advantage, and it couldn't be better.
It looks like you got out of the start okay, but he clamped you down a bit for a couple of laps.
Well, he was racing his line, but, luckily we didn't interfere each other, and I got the win.
What was going through your mind then when Ty made that mistake?
he got the answer. I said, yeah! So, yeah, thanks.
Everybody's been saying, Matti Jagar, you should have won a Grand Prix, and now you have. How does it feel?
Well, I'm not a virgin anymore. So finally I got the win, yeah.
Well, enjoy your time on the top step. Congratulations, Matti Jagar.
Thank you very much.
Fine effort and fully deserved. It was a tough race and Woofenden made him work hard. I thought for a moment Ty was going to pull that one off, but Zagar, a deserved winner.
Here's the World Championship standings then, now after 3 rounds. And look how tight it is. Christoph Kasperzak 35, Nicky Pedersen, Greg Hancock 34, Chris Holder 32, Smolinski on 31, Freddie Lindgren on 30, Jarek Hampel 29, Darcy Ward 29, Ty Woofenden 28 and Matti Zagar 27. How close is that? By my reckoning, we've got, what, 8 points separating about 10 riders going to Prague.
As you rightly said, Nigel, it's going to be wide open going to Prague in 2 weeks' time. Big smiles all around for Zagar and fully deserved it. Woofenden will be a little bit disappointed, I would suggest, after that. He'll be chuffed to bits to see how many points he scored, but he'll be disappointed that he didn't manage to win the Grand Prix. He'll be very keen to win more Grand Prix in the upcoming meetings. But here we go with the national anthem.
Many congratulations to Matti Zagar from Slovenia, the winner of the FIM Finnish Speedway Grand Prix here in Tampere.
Good effort, isn't it? Brilliant. And quite an unusual trophy there, the third place. It's a helmet with some old-style classic goggles on it.
You used to wear those helmets and goggles, didn't you, when you were a rider, Cal?
Yeah, thanks very much.
When the TV was black and white.
I'm sure, yeah, probably. And looks like a checkered flag round there. Reminds me of Ivan Major's helmet colours, but yeah, unusual. It's been a tough night. I haven't envied the riders this evening. It's been a really character-building exercise for all concerned. Great to see the world champion back. You know, it's never easy to watch when a champion is struggling, and it certainly was at the early part of the season. But as we come into Tampere here this evening, he has really turned his season around, and he'll be really pleased with that. I'm sure he is.
Now the presentation, the highlight of Matti Zagar's career now. What a moment. Big, big moment.
Yeah, it is. It is, because it's a breakthrough win for him, and you would suggest that you know, he's a mature rider. He may well kick on and win several more, and he's got plenty of speed in his motorbike. He had a lot of speed behind Woofenden in the final there and put a lot of pressure on the champion, and it was an excellent performance. Woofenden on the replay there, when we saw it, was quite a they're enjoying those goggles. The champagne scene's about to burst into action here, and I've got to say those goggles look terrific. But
Freddie's got the helmet on as well.
Yeah. Great scenes there, and Zagar's going to be thoroughly overjoyed with that. But look at they look great.
Old style retro.
Yeah, very much a retro look.
Yeah, that helmet suits you, Freddie. You should use that. Fantastic stuff, yeah. And this is a moment that Matti Zagar will remember for the rest of his life.
Without doubt.
The first Grand Prix win of his career.